the sideline. The Buckeyes had gone up by 5, and we'll return after this commercial break and a word from your local station.
Balance. It is stability based on planned diversity. Rockwell continuous growth results from a balance of businesses. Outstanding performance in electronics, aerospace, automotive, industrial automation, and general industries. Rockwell International, down-to-earth management and opportunities as limitless as space.
Introducing a new, longer-lasting Energizer.
The new Energizer AA battery. It's supercharged.
Now radios play 14 hours longer than before.
It's supercharged.
No battery in the world outlasts it.
When you've got to go in ice and snow, you're gonna go with Prestone.
Driving just 10,000 miles on weak, neglected antifreeze can leave a radiator looking this bad, while the Prestone radiator looks this good.
America goes with Prestone.
This is CBS.
The BMW 5 Series is composed of two luxury sedans. The 528e, that embarrassed the automotive establishment with sheer technological prowess, and the 535i, that embarrassed it with sheer performance. Which one should you choose? That depends on which part of the automotive establishment you'd rather embarrass.
Test drive the ultimate driving machine at your Central Connecticut BMW dealers.
You've probably heard that Coors isn't pasteurized. Well, it's true. It's also true that Coors is the only major brewer who won't pasteurize any of their beer. The reason? It's taste. See, when you pasteurize something, you heat it. And heating hurts the taste of beer. So Coors purifies without heat. That helps make Coors a little less heavy, never bitter, but with all the spirit of a great beer. So when you want a beer, it's just plain better. Coors is the one.
Waterbury, America takes its hat off to you.
In Columbus, Ohio, I'm Brent Musburger along with Ara Parsigan. We start quarter number 2, Ara, and the Buckeyes lead it by 5. And after the safety, they have a 1st and 10. The ball is at the 33. Carsados pitches to Workman, the freshman. Oh, a great tackle that time by Norvell, who came up from the secondary.
Oh, he really did. What a job Norvell did. Supported very quickly.
How about the numbers in the first quarter, Al?
Well, the biggest surprise to me is the yards passing. 108 for Ohio State and 14 for Long and Iowa. But, of course, that's just one quarter. Never count Chuck Long out. We've seen him operate before. But an excellent quarter for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Second down and 13, and Barry Walker appears in the backfield, comes in motion 43. They run away with it. Workman, who was tripped up, got to the 37. George Millette tripped him up, and then Norvell sealed him up. Well, we've got an opportunity here. Let's go back to New York. Here's Jim Nantz on an update. Jimmy?
Well, Brent, Michigan and Illinois are scoreless at halftime, but a record has been set in that game by quarterback Jack Trudeau of Illinois. He sets the all-time mark for most consecutive passes without having one intercepted. It's up to 202 straight attempts for Trudeau. Let's go back to Brent and Nara.
Jim, what a Big Ten year for quarterbacks this is. And now we're watching Jim Carsados call signals for the Buckeyes. And he's going to put it up. Going long down the right sideline. Lanise breaks free a little bit late. He was held up over there and couldn't get free. And that was Ken Sims, the defensive back, who did a good job of staying in front of Lanise and wouldn't allow him to spring free on this play. Now, take a look at what happened to Lanise here. Did he just stop?
He appeared to stop over on the sideline. Watch here. Sims, number 9, is covering. He turns. Oh, he faked him and ran by him. What he did was he got by Sims, but Carsados overthrew the ball. He gave him a little fake there is what he did, and Sims brought the package because he did get by him.
Now it is Tom Tupa's turn to punt. He is the backup quarterback here at Ohio State also. And he is a marvelous punter. Right-footed, penalty flags down all over the place.
Wow.
And it'll be whistled dead right now. And they have put Ronnie Harmon and Bill Happel, both of them, back to return this punt. And Era, I guess with Harmon back there to return, Hayden Fry is looking for a big play at this moment.
He certainly is. He'd like to get better field position if he possibly can. But Tupa can really kick the football.
Ohio penalty, dead ball foul, procedure.
We get word on Penn State era that there's less than 2 minutes to go right now, and the Nittany Lions still lead Boston College 16-12. Of course, BC had been ahead in that game.
Boy,
Good one.
They've won more ball games by 2 and 3 points. It's amazing. A tribute to Joe Paterno and the Penn State team for coming back after last year.
All right, now Tom Tupa out of Brecksville, Ohio. 6'5", 212-pound sophomore. We'll try it over again. After that penalty was assessed against the Buckeyes, he'll hit it at about the 20-yard line. High into the air, Happel at the 16, at the 20. And he has run out of bounds. And again, it was number 7. What an afternoon Sonny Gordon is having for the Buckeyes. Now our Toyota Leadership Award goes weekly to a team member who's been singled out by the athletic department and faculty advisor for his team contributions, grades, and citizenship. Today's winners are Jim Gilmore of Ohio State and Rob Houtland of Iowa. And Toyota will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund. 1st and 10 now, Coach, for Chuck Long, and we haven't seen the Hawkeye attack stop quite like this.
Let's see if they've figured something out here while they're on the sideline.
Here's Harmon up the middle.
Ronnie Harmon.
A little cutback. Halloween definitely not over yet in Columbus, I can tell that.
Darrell Lee, the left tackle, did a beautiful job of coming off of his block and spinning back. Otherwise, Harmon would have had much more yardage. Local boy from Columbus, Ohio.
He's 2nd and 3. On the pass play to the sideline, complete to Happel. It's a first down. William White was the cornerback working on it. Now that's the Chuck Long we're familiar with, but I think Happel may have been shaken up on the far sideline when he went down over there.
He's been a great receiver. You're exactly right, Brent. They have run this pass play an out pattern right here. See, Cumro 14 was blocked right there on Happel. Can't tell whether, I hope Happel's not hurt. Very simple pattern. He reads the coverage. You can see the cushion on him. He has plenty of time. Sonny Gordon 7 tries to get in front. And William White 37 is too deep. And of course, that's the long, as you pointed out, that we have seen in the previous 2 games that we did.
Long is back again on first down. Throws underneath. And it is caught there by Harmon. Chris Spielman again on the coverage. And we've got a final score, and Penn State pulls it out, so they stay unbeaten. And now they will retire and keep an eye on this game to see what will happen to the Iowa Hawkeyes, who trail by 5 points. It's a field goal and a safety right now. We're in the 2nd quarter here in Columbus. The Buckeyes also missed a field goal in the 1st quarter. 2nd down and 3. The fullback, Hudson, splendid run. Got off a would-be tackler that time, and Darrell Lee finally brought him down close to a first down here for the Hawks.
Well, vintage Iowa now. You saw the out pattern to Happel, then a little screen pass out to Harmon. Hudson is a change-up right in the middle. This is what they'll do. Looks like they have gotten together at the halftime and done a good job of determining what the defense of Ohio is. Let's see if they can sustain it.
Helverson coming out to the right, and Quinn Early goes to the left. Long will throw it. Has plenty of time. Fakes going underneath. Now he waits. Complete. Went to his tight end, Mike Flagg, that time.
But what the Buckeyes wanted to do, they want to keep Long inside the pocket. He had an awful lot of time to throw the football, but they did keep him in there. But you just can't give him that much time. He'll find an open receiver.
Era Long does not seem as certain to me as he normally is. He is not comfortable with this game right now. He's 5 of 9, 39 yards and 1 interception. In the past, when we've watched him, he seemed to really have an idea when he'd look off a receiver and come back. And I think he's hesitating a little bit here. I don't know whether it's the defense that is confusing him and he's not sure of the coverages, but Chuck Long is not into the rhythm of this game yet.
Well, he didn't have a good first quarter. He had one interception that could have been 3. But this drive now, I think he's getting his confidence back, and I think they got an idea what they might be able to do. But Ohio State is really camouflaging their coverages.
Well, this is 2nd and short. And the Hawkeyes will take a free one and throw. Going long to Robert Smith. Incomplete. And it was William White on the coverage, number 37.
And he put the ball right there. Long had the ball right in Smith's hands. From my vantage point here, it appeared that he dropped the ball. Again, they're putting a 4-man rush on this time. You see 33 Golick going. Now watch Long and Smith. Watch where this ball hits. Beyond the, look at that, right there. Maybe William White got his hand in there. It's hard to tell from this point.
Now they can come back and go short yardage with Fred Bush set in front of Harmon. They've got a 3rd and about a half yard. Fake bootleg. Long comes around. And he just did get it if they give him a first down. I mean to tell you that Pepper Johnson, Greg Rogan, they came over there and said, no more, Mr. Quarterback.
This is the same play that we saw in the Michigan State game and Michigan. In the Michigan State game, it was away from the flow. This one is into the flow. Fakes the ball to Harmon. There's Cumro 14 that went for the dive, but look at the 2 defenders, Pepper Johnson coming in along with Lee.
So they're going to come to the far side and measure this. Chuck Long watching as the sticks are put down right there. Long telling the bench that he's got it. And so now Hayden Fry will be working with a 1st and 10. The ball is down at the Ohio State 42-yard line.
And the deepest penetration for the Hawkeyes.
You know, Bill Happel, who was shaken up on that one completion, has not come back, and he suffered an injured shoulder. He's over there on the Hawkeye sideline being tended to right now. On 1st down, Long wants to set the screen. Harmon comes back the other way. And he is run down by Rogan. Number 29 stayed right with Harmon that time, and they wouldn't let him get around the corner. Now Happel is going to try it, Era. He's back on the field, but he is definitely trying to get a little more movement in that left shoulder. Number 40 of the Hawkeyes back in there at wide receiver. He's the control man. It was an injury to the left shoulder when he went out of bounds. He'll go up to the top now on the left side. David Hudson is the lone setback. It's a throwing formation. On the move, Long's dangerous from this. And it is picked off. Intercepted by White. William White has intercepted. And Long now has thrown 2 interceptions here in the first half.
Great defensive coverage. And that's the kind of thing that has to shake up Chuck Long, because he thought he had the receiver. He has been so accurate in the earlier games, and this time he finds the Buckeyes all over his receivers. This is also what Ohio State did not want to happen, to have Long flushed out, because he completes 77% of his passes when he's outside the pocket. But look at here, as William White, 37, reaches in and intercepts the ball from Halverson, number 87.
So William White, who intercepted one last week against Minnesota that led to a big touchdown, comes up with another one here. And we've got a timeout in Columbus.
In a high-tech fighter, avionics like these are your eyes. In your car, this eye tells you the all-weather Delco Freedom battery is raring to go. One glance is all the maintenance it takes in any weather, from the blazing desert heat to flash frozen with sub-zero liquid gas. You'll see why Delco is the world's largest producer of maintenance-free batteries.
From $39.95 for a Series 40, call 800-AC-DELCO.
Never wait for trouble.
Looking for something more in a car, but the cost of keeping it on the road hangs over it like a dark cloud? Introducing a ray of sunshine, the 1986 Toyota Tercel. It has the lowest operating cost of any car in America. It's Toyota's lowest priced car. It has more room than any subcompact and front-wheel drive. The Toyota Tercel. You won't get soaked.
Who could ask for anything more? Toyota.
Last season, Maryland stormed back to take a thriller from Miami. See their rematch, or Washington against Arizona State, next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Every quarterback in football goes through the frustrations facing Chuck Long, who is wearing the headset and talking to head coach Hayden Fry. But it's what you do with the rest of the game now that matters.
Exactly, and I'm sure that his confidence has been shaken some. He's had a couple of interceptions. The pad, he was flushed out. He's always done very well when he gets outside of the pocket. There's good response on the part of that secondary of the Buckeyes.
And a lot of pressure on those youngsters, and they're responding. They'll run the fullback, Big Cooper, right straight ahead. He's a converted tailback, number 44 is. And so he's not as good a blocker as you've seen in the past here in these Ohio State backfield combinations where they always had the bulldozing fullback. But he is a load when he comes at you.
6'2" or 6'3", 245 pounds.
They got their own refrigerator, and he plays back there regularly.
It says 238 on the screen there, but when I talk to him, I talk to him and ask him.
That's the program weight, folks. Now they run Woolridge, daylight, breaks free, Greer gives chase, Woolridge cuts speed, he's going to go for a touchdown. Yards for John Woolridge. A young man who was a doubtful performer here earlier in the week because he suffered a rib injury, and he's being congratulated by Keith Byers, the big horse who is not playing, but who is not being missed right now by the Buckeyes either. Rich Spangler to attempt the extra point. Hayden Fry must feel it's deja vu in Columbus. Where did all these Indians come from? Ohio State is jumping all over the top-rated team in the country right now.
Watch here. Look at the hole. Hap Peterson, number 50, veers, and Woolridge will cut in behind it. Maggs, number 71, is blocking the linebacker. Look at that daylight. Beautiful. Oh, Devon Mitchell missed him right there. I didn't see that at first, but now he's got daylight. And you see, Greer cannot catch him. And what a well-blocked, well-run play for the Buckeyes.
Ohio State with the lead, and we've got a timeout in Columbus.
The good life in America means reaching for your dream.
The Equitable manages over $20 billion of real estate that not only provides a better place to live and work for millions of Americans, it also provides a substantial return for the people who invest with us.
We are the Equitable. Yes, we'll help you live the good life. We are the Equitable. We can help your dreams come true.
These are just some of the gold medals that Cavit has won. Not this Cavit, I'm talking about Cavit Wine, C-A-V-I-T. Cavit is a family of fine vintage wines from high in the Italian Alps. Both the classic Cavit Pinot Grigio and the sophisticated Chardonnay taste remarkably clean, crisp, and dry. Yet they're surprisingly affordable. So it's not surprising that one of us has won 117 gold medals. Just ask for Cavit, as in Cavit.
On game day in the National Football League, they are the ones in the know when you want to know. The NFL Today.
Harris, show us how this play developed. What happened in the middle here?
Watch number 50, Peterson, right here, will loop to the right, comes and gets depth, and you'll see Woolridge finesses him. Maggs continues on and blocks off the linebacker. Watch this. Watch number 50, the middle guard, loops around. He is actually finessed because not blocked. Woolridge cuts back to the daylight. Maggs, number 71, right there, walls off station 36. Devon Mitchell misses it. and Woolridge is off for the races.
And Era, of course, one of the big questions is what happened to those two inside linebackers in that play. We saw what happened to Hap Peterson, but obviously those linebackers moved. And just as soon as we see Spangler kick off here, we want to see that live. We're going to go back and show you the end zone angle because those were the men they were attacking. Now it's 12-0. 9 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the first half. An upset brewing in Columbus. There's Harmon, 5, 10, 15, 20. And he's brought down at the 25-yard line. Daylight developed, but the coverage came. So, Era, take us back now and show us the inside view.
You'll see here Maggs, the center that is in front of Carsadas, comes off of this as Hap Peterson veers. Station comes clear across to the action, and Maggs walls him off. And, of course, Davis is screened off as well. Let's take a look at it. You do not see Maggs, number 71. Right there, Uhlenhake comes up and through, number 68 with Maggs right here. And Maggs right there, Uhlenhake there. Watch. And they're walled off, both of them.
What a great play that was by the Buckeyes. And now, 1st and 10, the Hawkeyes under fire. Ronnie Harmon coming through with a big gain, getting close to the 35-yard line, and Terry White, the free safety, with the hit. Era, Iowa now needs something badly in the next 8:45, something they can go into the locker room and build upon for Coach Fry. They don't want to go in and give up another touchdown here. I think the next 8:35 is absolutely critical for the Hawkeyes in this football game.
Well, there's a lot of time in this football game, and of course Long can strike quickly, but I think that he needs to complete some passes so he's able to read the coverage and know exactly what the Buckeyes are doing. I think he's a little bit confused by it. You see they're going conservative here with a run and a try on 2nd down and short to go for a waste down. They decided to just go ahead for the 1st down, which is indication that they want to be a conservative here and get back into field position before they try anything fancy with Long.
Happel brings the play in from Hayden Fry's sideline. And Quinn Early leaves as they continue to shuttle in and out receivers with the plays. Iowa comes up here with 8 minutes to go in the first half, and they'll have split backs, Hudson and Harmon. And they bring Helverson in motion. Long comes straight back. Down the right side, and it's intercepted again. And this one is intercepted by Rogan, number 29, the 3rd interception against Chuck Long by the Buckeyes.
This is absolutely incredible because the Buckeyes gave up almost 500 yards to Purdue. I just said that Long had to complete a pass. He completes it, but he completes it to the Buckeyes. Look at the coverage. He threw right into coverage. That's Rogan right there, 29. But it was bad judgment on Long's part, no question.
1st and 10 for Carsados. Off a fake. Earl Bruce will put it up. He comes underneath the Workman, who is run out of bounds by George Millett, the right end. For Chuck Long, it has been an afternoon of frustration. He has already thrown 3 interceptions. A week ago, he was throwing 1 touchdown after another. But this Buckeye defense is a lot different than Northwestern's, and Long is learning that here this afternoon in Columbus. Now it is 2nd down and 5. With a 12-0 lead, Jimmy Carsados brings the Buckeyes to the line of scrimmage, and confidence is starting to bubble here in Columbus. They run Cooper, the fullback. Daylight, he's inside the 30, down to the 25-yard line.
They got the Hawkeyes off balance. Watch Cooper, the fullback, 245, step in there. He actually was hit right at the line of scrimmage, shook loose from the tacklers. There goes Devon Mitchell, Station. Take another look at it from the end zone. Good blocking by the line, a young line, inexperienced, coming into the season that has done a remarkable job of improving in every game.
And we saw the first appearance of Roman Bates. John Woolridge comes back, and here he is. His last carry was 57 yards for a touchdown. Now he's inside the 20-yard line before Norvell brings him down. We got action here, and it's also brewing around the country. Let's go to Jim Nance in New York for an update. Jimmy?
Well, Brad, Chuck Long is not the only Heisman candidate having a frustrating day. Auburn is trailing Florida 7-3 the third quarter, and Bo Jackson has a bruised thigh in that game. He has not played in the second half. It is doubtful that he'll return. Again, the Tigers trail by 4, third quarter. Let's go back to Brenton Nera.
Isn't that ironic? On a day when Chuck Long could have made a move on Bo Jackson, he comes up firing interceptions, 3 of them. Carsados off a delay, runs Cooper. Cooper for the end zone, gets to the 5. John Breeze, the right tackle, 57, hauls him down.
Absolutely the same little draw play that Michigan State hurt the Iowa team. Iowa needs a timeout to regroup. They're off balance. The Buckeyes have kept them off balance. Watch here, Cooper comes out like it's going to be the Carsados. Look at that hole. It's exactly the same thing that Michigan State did to the Hawkeyes about 3 weeks ago.
And the head coach can only wonder what's gone wrong here this afternoon. And more importantly, can he put things back together? It is a first and goal. Workman, the freshman, is at a tail. Cooper, he's met by the middle of that Hawkeye defense. Got close to the 3-yard line. Jeff Drost and Hap Peterson certainly were in there someplace.
They're in good position for that. You know, Brent, that little option play they ran against Minnesota last week would be a good call right here on second down. Here they're just trying to muscle it in here. Cooper picks up a few yards, but good response by the Hawkeye defense.
The tight end, Ed Taggart, number 80, is right next to Cooper. He's the young man who caught the touchdown pass against Minnesota on 4th and goal. Carsados keeps it, and they ride him down hard as he tries to turn the corner there. Bruce Gear, number 94, who had come in their goal line defense, whacked the quarterback down. He was exposed with that running play.
I think he'd been better served had he gone to the wide side of the field. They had it well defensed on the short side. They had the wing on the right side. I thought they were going to run the option to the field, but they came short side. There's Earl.
You know, Bruce will surprise you. He's not as conservative as you might think. We saw him come up with some plays against Minnesota. Like when it was 4th and 1, he threw the pass, faked the run. That was actually a 2-point conversion play that they put in. He has the final authority. So we've got a timeout. We're going to break. 5:10 to go in the first half. We'll be right back.
When Bill bought his new business, he was surprised. Owning a minor league baseball team was a lot like running his insurance company. So Bill called in Team Xerox. Unlike other companies, they thoroughly examined the kind of documents he needed, then recommended compatible equipment, software, and networks. Now, Bill keeps track of salaries and scouting reports with better documents than ever before. And with Team Xerox in the front office, all Bill has to worry about are his players.
Silence doesn't stop teenage suicide. Families that deal with the problem succeed in reducing the incidence of suicide. So look for the warning signs. Ask the probing questions. Don't be afraid. You can't give them ideas they haven't already thought of. You can give them the attention and the help that might save their life.
It has started to rain hard here this afternoon in Columbus, but as far as the fans and the band are concerned, it's a bright, sunshiny day. The Buckeyes are ahead of Iowa, 12-0 with 5:10 to go, and Earl Bruce is not noticing the rain either, Era.
And what if, well, let's see, there's 5 minutes left to go, 5:10 in this quarter. And Ohio State already has 226 yards and absolutely equally distributed. 113 rushing and 113 passing. Let's see what they come up with here.
Woolridge is at the tail. The wide side is to Carsados' right. Here, end around. Here comes Carter. Cuts back up the middle and fumbles the ball. Now the ball went through the end zone and out of bounds. And he was pitching the ball. Taggart, there's a penalty flag thrown. Take a look at this. See what I told you? Earl Bruce, just when you think it's real conservative, right? Now watch. Here comes Carter. As he goes down, he flips the ball. George Millette hit him, and Taggart was wide open. Era, I've never seen that play down by the goal line.
But I don't see the penalty because it was a forward pass. I didn't see anyone downfield. Let's see what the call's going to be.
I thought when Millette hit him, watching him for the first time, he simply fumbled the ball. Now when we look at it, he was up in the air and he got hit, and so it was half pass, half fumble, all incompletion is what that play was.
We've got an illegal forward pass. Walter down on the offense.
I don't see anyone downfield. Let's see if we can pick it up. Here he comes with the reverse. He hands off behind. I see no one downfield.
Watch
illegally.
that 5-yard line there.
Now let's see. He was not past the line of scrimmage. I see no one downfield, which would make it illegal. I don't see the call.
Now Spangler has made one from 28 yards, missed one from 31. Now it's 26 yards and it's good. He's 2 of 3. And Spangler puts the Buckeyes up 15-0. 5 minutes to go. Hayden Fry's turn it back.
Introducing the 1986 front-wheel drive Family Camry from Toyota, the car that gives you more headroom than any other compact, and more hip room and leg room than many compact cars. That means the Family Camry has more room for a rock group or a group of rocks. The Town Council of Slesack, Michigan, with the mayor's dog thrown in, 42 gas balloons, 2 sets of identical twins, plus a man named Murray. The Family Camry from Toyota.
Who can ask for anything more? Toyota.
Silence doesn't stop teenage suicide. Families that deal with the problem succeed in reducing the incidence of suicide. So look for the warning signs. Ask the probing questions. Don't be afraid. You can't give them ideas they haven't already thought of. You can give them the attention and the help that might save their life.
He may be the back of the future. We may start a new trend in football.
Hand off to Perry. Crosses the right side of the line. Touchdown!
The Bears against the Packers tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Era, where was the line of scrimmage here?
You can see here, I will mark it where the ball is, right about at the 4.5-4-yard line. Now that's where the line of scrimmage is. Now if you watch, as Carter comes back, you see the handoff in the reverse. Now watch where he takes off to throw the ball. The ball is gone before he gets to that 4.5-yard line. Right there, the ball is thrown and gone long before that occurs. It's not a good call by the official.
So on 4th down, Ohio State kicks a field goal, and they lead Iowa 15-0. I'll tell you something, it could be a lot worse. It could be much worse than 15-0.
Yes, that's right. They've been down in there, been forced a couple of field goals.
Harmon and Quinn Early are back deep. Spangler has the ball teed up here in Columbus. Here's Harmon at the 10. Knocked down hard at the 11-yard line. What great kickoff coverage by the Buckeyes. John Sullivan, a linebacker, number 57, just came down and whacked him down at the 11-yard line. Take a look at this, Coach.
Boy, Harmon was really hit. Put yourself in Harmon's position. You're returning the kickoff. Watch Sullivan come in here, number 57. Wham! Woo! He is really hit.
So again, it is not good field position for the Hawkeyes.
They've started at the average of their own 18-yard line. Now that's tough to operate.
From the eye, Chuck Long runs Harmon, and he gets out to about the 19-yard line. So tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Time here on CBS. It's the NFL Today. John Madden will be live. He's covering the Giants. Ali Haji Sheikh has returned as a field goal kicker, but is he ready to go, and what's going on with that situation? John will report on that. The Bears and the Packers, the great refrigerator grudge match going on in Green Bay, and we'll get an update on that. We'll hear about Eric Dickerson and Dan Marino. Here in Columbus, it is 15-0. The Buckeyes lead the Hawkeyes. Long rolling to the left, and is His receivers were covered, and he is hauled down by Sullivan, who has come into the game after making that great hit on the special team. They have left his twin brother in. If it's not one Sullivan, it's the other one getting to you.
It looked like Long wanted to run the football, and it looked like he might be able to pick up some yardage until Sullivan recovered very quickly and knocked him down.
So there's what Era just told you about Iowa's starting field position being their own 18, and the Buckeyes, meanwhile, are much closer to midfield. 3rd and 3. Harmon gets out to the first down at about the 22-yard line. And again, Mike Sullivan, along with Byron Lee, 82, in on that stop.
I would think that Hayden Fry doesn't want any mistakes down here with less than 4 minutes, 3:29 left. Give Ohio State another field position, another opportunity. Whatever he does throw, I'm sure will be a very conservative pass.
You know, they have put Sullivan in place of Kolick at middle guard. Long to throw underneath to Harmon. And run out of bounds near the 27-yard line, Greg Rogan, who has one of the 3 intercepted passes here by the Buckeyes in the first half. Spielman got one, William White got one, and Rogan got one. And of course, around the conference, this action going on. Michigan leading Illinois by a field goal in Champaign. And Michigan State has already beaten Minnesota, playing without quarterback Foggy this afternoon in the 3rd, and that's in the 4th. 2nd and 5, and they run Harmon, and he is just swarmed all over by the Buckeyes that time. Pepper Johnson was there along with Sullivan again.
And Spielman again. Spielman was in there too, Brett. He's been all over the field today.
And Chris Spielman.
Got a shot there of Hayden Fry, and I'm sure that he'd like to get off the field here at halftime, no worse than 15-0. Kind of regroup in there, try to decide on what happened in the first half. There's offense and defense. Get them pumped up for the second half.
Well, the secondary of Ohio State has done a job here so far. This is to Hudson, the fullback. He comes out of that pile. He's still going. 35, 40, 45. Run out of bounds right there near the 45-yard line. Sonny Gordon got him a 20-yard gain. How did Hudson come free?
I don't know. There must be 3 or 4 missed tackles in there. You see, Long has plenty of time to throw the ball, cannot find anyone open. Decides to dump it off to his little check man right here, which is Hudson, number 20. There's Lee. There's Spielman missing right there. Here comes Pepper Johnson. He misses. He's knocked off by one of his own men. There's Terry White, number 12. He misses. Finally, Sonny Gordon comes over the strong safety.
Did you see Happel? He was set in behind the tackler, and he said, I can't go in. I can't go any closer. I'm going to clip. Well, if he'd have turned around, he'd have had a shot at Sonny Gordon, who was coming over. Now it is 1st and 10. Long, straight back. Hard to the sideline, and again the ball is thrown high, incomplete. That's not the Chuck Long we're familiar with. He normally hits wide receivers right in the numbers, especially Happel and Helverson.
And Terry White, the hard hitter in that defensive secondary, the free safety, number 12, puts a pretty good hit on Happel. Let's see whether or not he shakes it loose. Happel has to jump for the football right there, but there's the contact by Terry White, 12.
Never had control of the football, and just as you pointed out, Arrow, when you got a hard hitter, you do not want to expose a receiver like that. Or keep him down where he can tuck that ball in and deliver his own blow. Here's Harmon, daylight, 45, 40, 35-yard line. And Ronnie Harmon, with his best run of the game, gets inside the 35, and Terry White is forced to get him out of bounds. A 21-yard gain. The Hawkeyes with 2 minutes to work with. The rain coming down in Columbus. They're down by 15, and they desperately want something on that board to climb back in right now. So we are live at the Horseshoe, Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. The Buckeyes have not lost here in 19 straight games. And right now, they lead the top-ranked team in the nation, the Hawkeyes of Iowa, by 15 points. to Harmon. Long underneath, and Harmon released into the middle and got across the 30 down to about the 27. Larry Kolick, number 33, and of course Chris Spielman, the ever-present Chris Spielman. And down in the Southeast Conference, Auburn leading Florida. Tough game. Bo Jackson, in case you didn't hear, injured and not playing. Alabama rolling. And Tennessee shutting out Rutgers. There, they've got a timeout down there on the field. And so I want to remind everybody that at halftime we'll have the Prudential College Football Report. Jim Nance and Pat Hayden. And we got a timeout, so let's take a break here from Columbus.
Bigger engines work easy on oil. But today's smaller, higher revving engines are tougher. They can break down an oil's viscosity within 1,500 miles. That's why there's Castrol. Tests show Castrol suffers no significant breakdown of viscosity even after 5,000 miles. So use Castrol, because if you make things too hard on your engine could make things hard on you. Castrol, engineered for smaller cars.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
Honey, this is just like the PC I have at the office.
The PC-compatible Tandy 1000, just $9.99, with a Christmas bonus color monitor. Save $300.
So,
Soon as I finish our budget, sweetheart.
Budget?
It comes with its own software
My report's due tomorrow, Dad.
and has plenty of home uses.
Don't stay too late at the office, dear.
The Tandy 1000 with color monitor Christmas bonus, only at Radio Shack.
Columbus, Ohio. In so many afternoons, there was a coach here by the name of Woody Hayes. Look at his record. 205 wins and 61 defeats. And one of his proudest moments came after he'd retired as head football coach here. They have a tradition that they dot the I. And usually it is one of the veteran members of the band. But on this Saturday afternoon, it was the former head coach, Woody Hayes himself. And Woody has not been feeling well. He suffered a heart attack about a month ago. But, Era, I know you spoke to him on the telephone, and he was so pleased to hear from you yesterday.
Really was, and he's the fellow that hired me at Miami of Ohio, my freshman, made me the freshman coach, and then when I left, he's the guy that recommended I become the head coach and started me in my head coaching career.
He's pulling for that Buckeye defense right now because Iowa looks impressive on this drive. The blitz is on. Long gets it off. Happel has got it. Across the 20, 15, and he's down at the 12. Let me tell you that Chuck Long took a tremendous jolt that time on the blitz, but he hung right in there, and that's one of the things that distinguishes Chuck Long. He will take punishment like he does in this sequence here.
He got
now
the ball
watch
away.
the pressure coming from the backside. He doesn't feel it. He gets hit by Rogan, but he still completes the pass to Happel.
And Pepper Johnson loses him right there and makes another man miss. Sonny Gordon coming over along with Lee to save it from a touchdown. Big, good drive by Iowa here.
And they run Hudson. He has run powerfully in this sequence, and again it is Spielman leading the defensive charge by the Buckeyes that time.
He came into the ball game, I'm talking about Hudson, with a 4.3 average. Bush started during the early part of the year, and he was replaced by Hudson, who is a very strong fullback. Good blocker.
Kneel down in that huddle, and of course Hayden Fry wants to get something up on that board and go into the locker room and then build on that in the second half. Long rolling to the right. Faking. Receivers are covered. Incomplete. Rogan, and that was not a well-thrown ball that time.
I think once he released that ball, he wanted it back.
His receiver was well covered in the back of the end zone. Arrow, we've got a third, and what can Hayden Fry think of with Chuck Long struggling in the first half? He'd like to get a touchdown rather than settle for a field goal. What's his sequence going to be now?
He's got to throw the football, I think. Of course, he can use Harmon, checking him through. There's a lot of possibilities, but I think if he can get the ball in the end zone, it'll be a great psychological edge for Iowa.
He has 2 timeouts and 47 seconds. He's going to try to stretch out the defense. Harmon cuts back, and he is jammed up down there at the 4-yard line. Mike Key, number 30, was in on that goal line defense. Well, Hayden Fry and his assistant coaches are talking about it, and that gives us an opportunity to take a look at all the schools in the Big Ten Conference.
As the Big Ten Conference enters its 90th season of football competition, that rare combination of commitment to academic excellence and success on the playing field continues. Big Ten football is exciting, competitive, and entertaining, as evidenced by the continuous record-setting attendance figures posted year after year. But it's more than just the thrills and glory on the field. It's a weekend of bands, cheering crowds, color and pageantry which makes Big Ten football such a happening. The conference also excels in many other sports, including men's basketball, which always ranks among the nation's best, and ever-improving women's basketball, as well as strong support programs like hockey and wrestling, which have been dominated by Big Ten teams on a national level in recent years. But it's the nationally renowned academic reputation which distinguishes Big Ten universities, where tomorrow's leaders in research, technology, and higher education are ready to meet today's challenges.
I thought that Ronnie Harmon might have been shaken up on this run.
You watch closely here, just as he gets tackled, you'll see his left knee get caught. It's trapped underneath, and of course all the Buckeye tacklers are tackling him. Watch his left leg, it's planted right here. You can see it right there being twisted. I think he's all right. He was fortunate, but you can see he's hurt. Glad to get out of that one without too much damage.
Do you agree with 4th and 2 to go for the touchdown here by Hayden Era?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the best thing that could happen to him is to get a touchdown before they go in at halftime.
Well, here it comes for the Hawkeyes. It's the play of the half. Long pitches Harmon. Hudson leads the way. Harmon for the corner. And he's got it. Touchdown, Iowa. Ronnie Harmon steps in. Big moment in this game for the Hawkeyes.
Really is. With just 28 seconds left to go in the half, this will be a great psychological boost for the Hawkeyes. They needed that on 4th down, and that was a tremendous job of running by Harmon. He just turned on the Jets, got to the corner, and it was very close. It was not, the defense, it was defense pretty well, Brent.
They move 88 yards in 14 plays. And they took 4.5 minutes to do it. And Rob Houtland, the Michigan hero, nails the extra point. It is 15-7.
We'll see how he did it here. He'll come down the right side. There's the option. He pitches it out. There's 37 White, but he's blocked there by Hudson enough that he can't recover off of it, and he makes the move and just gets into the corner inside the pylon for the touchdown.
Tremendous lead block by the fullback Hudson that helped spring Ronnie Harmon as he stretched that defense to its limit and then got into the end zone. Young running back out of Bayside, Queens, New York.
And it was a great drive, 18 plays, 82 yards, and the big one was the Hudson and the Harmon runs in the middle of the field.
Well, here we are in Columbus, Ohio, and what a fine school this is. Let's take a look at it now.
This is the University of Iowa, a pace setter for the 1980s, where teaching and research are improving our health, strengthening our economy, preparing tomorrow's leaders. A distinguished faculty committed to teaching, research, and service. This is the University of Iowa, since 1847, proud of its leadership and innovation in public higher education.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the University of Iowa either. And we'll be taking a closer look at this Ohio State campus a little bit later here this afternoon. But I'm sure back there in Iowa City right now, they're all sitting around watching television, and they have to be enthused about what's transpired here in the last 4.5 minutes. Their team not playing well in the first half, but yet they're only down 15-7. And if you're a Buckeye booster, you've got to wish that some of those field goals had been touchdowns here in the first half. Here's the kickoff. On into the end zone and down there by Everett Ross, the freshman out of Columbus, Ohio. So on the touchback, it'll come out on the 20-yard line now, and the rain has stopped completely in Columbus. And next week here on CBS, we will bring you the Miami Hurricanes against the Maryland Terrapins. And Miami remembers that meeting a year ago when they led by 31 and then lost the game. We'll be on the air at 3:30 Eastern Time. So Hayden Fry and the Hawkeyes have got 28 seconds, but they have to feel that they're very much back in this football game. Ohio State will kill the clock right here. So Ohio State just letting the time run out. Nara, what's your assessment of what we've seen here in the first half so far?
Well, I think Earl Bruce has to be mighty pleased with the defensive performance. I said at the top of the show that they had to have an outstanding defensive performance. They certainly got that. Also, Carsadas being able to throw the football and Chuck Long being picked off 3 times. But psychologically, going in at halftime right here, it has to be a big lift for the Hawkeyes because they're on the board.
For the Buckeyes, there were 2 enormous plays in the first half. On a 4th down, Gary Costroballo was punting from his own end zone. Sonny Gordon came for the left side. He had a free alley. He poured in, blocked the punt, and knocked it out of the end zone for a safety. Then the other big play, John Woolridge, the tailback, cutting back to the left, eluding the nose guard. The linebackers were sealed, breaking a tackle from Devon Mitchell and going 57 yards for the touchdown. Ohio State leads 15-7, but Iowa scored the last touchdown, and they'll try to build on that when we come back for the second half.
I'm 32 years old, and I love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Brave adults are coming forward to challenge the notion that Frosted Flakes is just a kid's cereal.
I know there's a tiger in the box. I like the taste, okay?
Because you love them as a kid doesn't mean you can't love them as an adult.
One day, our neighbor saw the package on the table.
And we don't even have children.
With that extra crunch and milk, that frosting just right, that taste is great as ever.
Well, they've always been my favorite, so dig in. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
I saw this demonstration on TV, but I didn't believe it until I tried it myself. On this side, I feel a tingling sensation with Denorex. Here with Selsun Blue, nothing. The tingle tells me that Denorex is doing more.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denorex adds an extra anti-itch medicine many dermatologists recommend.
Feels really good. Refreshing. So long, Selsun Blue. Hello, Denorex.
Denorex shampoo or shampoo and conditioner fights dandruff and its itch with an extra relief medicine.
CBS Sports coverage of college football will continue after this word from your local station. This is CBS.
It's here. It's open. The all-new Motomart, the automotive superstore. Join the celebration at the all-new Motomart in Waterbury and New Britain. There's hundreds of free gifts. Register to win thousands of dollars worth of grand opening prizes, like this sporty Castrol Oil mini car. There's store-wide savings and over 20,000 quality parts and accessories for every kind of car or truck, including Castrol Oil. This week's sale priced at only 89 cents a quart. Look for our ad in Thursday's paper and shop the all-new Motomart in Waterbury and New Britain.
The new German-engineered Volkswagen Golf. We made it fast. We made it agile. We made it big. And at this price, we may have made it hard to buy just one. Golf. It's not a car. It's a Volkswagen.
Eyewitness News, Election 85. In Bristol, a referendum takes on the abortion issue. The Green Party debuts in New Haven. In Oxford, the Bull Moose Party makes the ballot. And in Hartford, the race is heating up. From New Haven to Waterbury to Wyndham, the Eyewitness News team is there, bringing you the kind of coverage you've come to expect from Channel 3. Watch for special reports by political reporter Marla Romash all this week on Eyewitness News at 6. Then on Tuesday, turn to Channel 3 for complete returns on Election 85.
Playboy Stars, 7:30 Monday.
CBS Sports presents the Prudential College Football Report, sponsored by The Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and financial services. The Prudential, the rock, it's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our New York studios here on the Prudential College Football Report. Jim Nantz along with Pat Hayden. We're at halftime. We got an upset going. Ohio State in front of Iowa 15-7. Buckeyes looking good without Keith Byers.
Well, you have to remember, Ohio State is a very good team with or without Keith Byers. Very good offensively. Remember, John Woolridge has played very well as Byers' replacement. Here you're going to see him take off on a 57-yard touchdown run, a good block up front by his left guard, and that made the score, 57 yards is 15-7 at the halftime.
And with Chuck Long in there, he can, of course, lead the Hawkeyes back in the second half. Number 1 Iowa in danger, and number 2 and number 6 meeting today, so we could see a lot of changes in the top 10. Look at this matchup. Florida now in front of Auburn 14-10 in the fourth quarter. Bo Jackson injured that game with a bruised thigh. 14 carries, 42 yards, set out all of the third quarter. I understand now he's back in the fourth quarter. The Tigers need him. They trail by 4 in the late going. Penn State, for the 7th time in 8 games this year, they have won by 7 points or less. This time, strangely enough, Penn State defensive tackle Mike Russo intercepted a pass, ran it back 21 yards for the winning touchdown as they beat Boston College 16-12. Another top matchup today. Number 4 Michigan tied with Illinois in the fourth quarter, 3-3. First points on the board were put on by Mike Gillette of the Wolverines. 49-yard field goal was good. Illinois has come back with a field goal of their own, and they are tied 3-3 in the fourth quarter. That is a crucial game in the Big Ten. The loser will most likely be out of the race for the Rose Bowl. Number 5, Nebraska figured to have it the easiest today in the top 10, 24-3 in the third quarter. Air Force has not lost this year. 2 touchdowns better than San Diego State. They're at halftime. Oklahoma getting a good performance today by their young freshman quarterback, Jameel Holloway. 4 out of 4 passing for 1 touchdown. He's also rushed 14 times for 170 yards, and the Sooners are going to avenge last year's loss to Kansas. And first quarter high-scoring battle, Miami and Florida State tied up 14 apiece. The Hurricane quarterback Vinny Testaverde, much like Bernie Kosar when he started his career with an opening game loss, Testaverde has led the Hurricane back with 6 straight wins. And if they can pull that one off today against Florida State, it'll be 7 in a row for Testaverde.
Remember in 1983, Bernie Kosar got the nod over Testaverde, but people were wondering how well Testaverde was going to play. He's had a sensational year. He's thrown for 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns in just 7 games. And folks at CBS, you're going to get a chance to see Vinny Testaverde and the Miami Hurricanes next week against ACC leader Maryland. Remember, it's a rematch of last year's game when Maryland trailed 31-0. Came back to win. In the Big 8, other top 20 scores, Oklahoma State knocks Colorado out of the Big 8 race with a 14-11 win. Thurman Thomas did most of the damage here as a 60-yard run. Got a great block from his left guard and left tackle. That made the score 14-3, and Oklahoma State still in the hunt in the Big 8. Arkansas 24-3 at halftime over Rice. Arkansas will play Baylor next week, who leads the Southwest Conference with a 5-0 record. LSU goes to 3-1 in the SEC with a 14-0 win over Mississippi. Dalton Hilliard scored both touchdowns for the Tigers. And BYU, after last week's loss to UTEP, they are 3rd in the WAC conference coming in today, trailing Air Force and Utah. However, today they lead Wyoming in the second quarter 17-0. Georgia keeps Tulane winless, a 58-3 rout. Freshman Tim Worley scored 3 touchdowns for Georgia. And Tennessee, talk about routes, they routed Rutgers today 14-0. Tennessee, one of 2 SEC teams not playing a conference game today.
40-0 in that one, Tennessee over Rutgers. You know, just a moment ago I told you about Bo Jackson returning to the lineup for Auburn. We understand he got in on a series and went back out of the game, so it looks like he will not return. Auburn again trailing Florida 14-10 in the fourth quarter. Still ahead of us here at halftime, we'll introduce our very own Nance Hayden fall formula for picking a national champion. And of course, more scores and highlights as the Prudential College Football Report continues here on CBS with more scores from around the East.
Choosing a life insurance policy can make anyone feel helpless. You're at the mercy of strangers. Your hands are tied. You feel pressured. But help is never too far away. With Prudential, your agent has the time to talk to you, listen to you, and work with you until you have a piece of the rock you're comfortable with. No wonder more people choose Prudential for life insurance than any other company. You'll feel right by the rock. Prudential Life Insurance.
Powerful new financial help is coming. The Rock, the Prudential, is now more than insurance. It's mutual funds, IRAs, stocks and bonds, new products and new ideas, as well as new forms of insurance. It's rock-solid financial help for us all. The Rock, the Prudential. It's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
Jim Nantz along with Pat Hayden back on the College Football Report. This is the time of the year where the college bowls start sending out representatives to certain games to check out the schools and see who looks good. Well, in the East, Army had 5 bowl reps on hand for their game today against Holy Cross, including one representative from the Fiesta Bowl on January 1. That'll tell you the kind of respect that Army is getting these days. Cadets won at 34-12. They upped the record to 7-1. Syracuse 12-0 over Pittsburgh, a shutout. Syracuse had not won in the state of Pennsylvania since 1970. They had suffered 17 straight losses in that state. Delaware upsets Temple. This was a big upset, 17-10 for Delaware. Penn was down 21-0 against Princeton. They came back to win at 31-21. They've won 13 straight Ivy League games, tying an all-time record. Harvard in the, no, this is a final now, just in. Harvard 25-17 over Brown, and one other final from the Ivy League. Yale and Dartmouth played to a 17-all tie.
All right, Jim, looks like why Penn and Harvard are battling for the Ivy crown. In the South today, the ACC race is on. Maryland goes to 4-0 in the conference with a 28-10 win over the Tar Heels of North Carolina. Stan Gelbaugh, the quarterback from Maryland, rolls to his left and finds his tight end Chris Knight for the 2-yard touchdown. That made it 14-0 North Carolina. Then Rick Badanek comes in. He always scores down by the goal line. They give the ball to him inside the 5-yard an awful lot. Maryland stays on top. Again, on CBS, you'll see Maryland and Miami next week. Also in the ACC, Clemson, which trails Maryland by a game, beat Wake Forest today 26-10. Georgia Tech also trying to keep pace, 9-0, a winner over Duke in the ACC. And in a surprise, North Carolina State beat South Carolina 21-17. Backup quarterback Eric Kramer came in and threw 2 touchdown passes in the last 4 minutes for the Carolina win there. Alabama 38-6, leading Mississippi State 38-6 in the third quarter. Alabama trying to keep pace with LSU in the Southeastern Conference. And Kentucky in the fourth quarter leading, that's a final now, 23-13 over East Tennessee State. And Kentucky is another one of those SEC teams which is not playing a conference game, which brings up an interesting point, I think, Jim, is that there are 10 conference schools, but they only play 6 games. And a lot of the teams don't play one another, which means they're not knocking themselves out of the bowl picture. While in the Big Ten, they play 8 conference games, and most likely those schools are knocking themselves out of the bowl situation.
You know, Pat, also in the SEC, it could lead one to wonder if the best team actually wins the conference, because who says that one team's 6-game schedule is any more difficult than anyone else's? I mean, there's got to be some differences out there.
Well, you're right. LSU went to the Sugar Bowl last year. They're a good example this year. They do not play Tennessee, Auburn, or Georgia this year. I'd like to see them play 7 or 8 conference games.
All right, Pat, let's move on over to the Midwest, where some more Big Ten games are taking place, aside from the one you're seeing today. Minnesota minus Ricky Foggie, quarterback. He was injured. He did not play. They were beaten by Michigan State 31-26. Purdue 31-7 over Northwestern. Jim Everett threw for almost 300 yards in that game. Wisconsin leads by 7, or make that now 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter over Indiana. Navy and Notre Dame. Second quarter, Navy and Notre Dame tied up 7 apiece. Missouri winless on the year after their worst start ever, and they're trailing by 10 points against Iowa State in the third quarter. They could drop to 0-8. Bowling Green unbeaten on the year, 34-7 over Northern Illinois in the fourth quarter. Southwest Conference, a lot to still be decided. Who's going to represent that team in the Cotton Bowl? Of course, Baylor is in front right now. Texas trying to rebound after being demolished last week. 30-point loss to SMU. Longhorns rebounded today, 34-21 over Texas Tech. And Houston, after their worst start ever in the Southwest Conference, they might pick up their first conference win. They lead TCU 14-0 second quarter in that game. You know, the Pac-10 also is a conference with a lot of things unsettled right now.
Well, Arizona was in the driver's seat a week ago, but with that loss to Stanford last week and only playing 7 conference games, they're in a bad situation right now. But Washington can tie UCLA for the Pac-10 lead today with a win. They're leading Stanford 10-0 in the second quarter. Arizona State and California, they're just getting underway in the first quarter, and some of you will watch Washington and Arizona State next week on CBS. And also in the first quarter, Arizona trying to bounce back from that surprising loss to Stanford, and there's no score with Oregon State.
All right, Pat, when we come back, we'll tell you who will win this year's national championship, or at least who we think will win it. You're watching the Prudential College Football Report here on CBS, where the scores continue from around the country.
Some investors who thought oil was the only answer came up dry. They've seen that tying up all their money in banks isn't always in their best interest. And that following the takeover fad of the moment can lead to slim pickings. More and more, the ambitious investor is following Prudential Bates, whose rock-solid investment strategy is leading the way to the future. Prudential Bates Securities. Follow a leader.
Muggsy, stay. Make sure your auto insurance is under control when your car's not. Have your Prudential representative give you a fast, free pro review of your coverage.
Are you covered? I don't know.
You'd know with a Prudential Pro Review. The right coverage is no accident.
Oh, Muggsy.
Get a Pro Review from the Prudential and get a piece of the rock.
Nice boat.
You know, November is the big month for decisions in politics as well as college football. This is when we find out just how good the pollsters really are. Right now in the polls, Iowa is #1. The Hawkeyes have never finished a season ranked #1 by AP. But if they hang on, win the national championship, they would become the 6th straight team to win the national championship for the first time.
Well, this really is a new trend. You know, the 19 years previous to this new trend, 6 teams dominated the national championship picture. As a matter of fact, this 6 teams won 17 out of 19 AP national championship rankings. And we're seeing this new trend for different reasons. Scholarship limitations, more passing, and I think better coaching in the high school levels.
Of course, while Hayden Fry and the Hawkeyes have recent trends on their way, they are kind of bucking the system when it comes to our new fall formula. We're going to tell you about the last 5 national champions on this weekend. The first weekend of November, we're not ranked #1. Georgia was 4th, Clemson 3rd, Penn State 6th. 2 years ago, Miami was 7th on this weekend. Last year, BYU was 4th. Here's what we did with our fall formula. We added up the numbers on the right and divided it, averaged it out, and it came up to 4.8.
We should round up to 5, don't you think?
I think so.
Well, that should mean the team ranked 5th today is going to win the national championship?
According to our fall formula, yes.
So that's Nebraska.
Nebraska. All right. Iowa, we're not giving up on you. You still have the second half ahead of you. And here's an update. Oh, Florida has beaten Auburn. That is now a final 14-10. The second-ranked Gators keep their unbeaten string alive. They do have one tie. Auburn, the 6th-ranked team, was beaten. And we'll have the second half action coming up here on CBS. You've been watching the College Football Report.
The Prudential College Football Report has been sponsored by The Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and financial services. The Prudential, the rock. It's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
Well, here at halftime, let's enjoy the Buckeye Marching Band. The title of their halftime show this afternoon, Let's Dance. And right now from the Circle Drill, it's the Big Band Medley. Let's take a listen. You and I had an opportunity to watch the band work out almost as hard as the football team. Now, speaking of the Ohio State football team, let's go back on our main storyline when the day began. They're All-America. Number 41, Keith Byers, unable to play because of an injured right foot. He re-injured it last week against Minnesota era.
Yes, I thought he got it on the initial hit when Joyner, number 20, comes up and hits him right here. He spins off that. That's where I thought he had hurt it. But he does it right there when three players come down and you see the white foot sticking out in between all the Minnesota players.
Now there's what the two players have done who have replaced him this afternoon. The veteran John Woolridge, and he exploded for 57 yards for a touchdown. And of course the freshman Vince Workman has been pretty much bottled up. Well, what do you expect in the second half out of Chuck Long, Era, as we take a look at what's befallen him here?
Well, I think the last drive had to reinstill some confidence. He had a real shaky quarter and a half with 3 interceptions, but he came back in that last drive, handed the ball off to Harmon and Bush and Hudson. Here's the kind of pressure he was getting in the first half from the Ohio State team, and also probably a little difficulty in reading the coverage. You see him knocked down right here by a cornerback coming in, which was Rogan.
Now, he has been intercepted already 3 times in the first half. They showed blitz and tried to bait him into throwing to coverage. And on the run, where he's the most lethal, he did throw to coverage right here. Badly thrown ball. William White picked it off, and that was one of the 3 interceptions. Chris Spielman, of course, had one. And what do you think about the second half now? Iowa got such a big lift there.
I'll bet you both locker rooms are really humming down there. I'll tell you, both coaches, Fry and, of course, Earl Bruce, because he wants to reestablish the tempo that he had in the first quarter. Hayden Fry's telling him, hey, we came back. I'll tell you, I'd like to be listening to all that, but I think it's
You'd like to be delivering it. I know you. You'd like to be right in the middle of this. So Chuck Long and the Iowa Hawkeyes are back out ready to go. Meanwhile, Jimmy Carsados and the Buckeyes say, let's get it on for the last 30 minutes.
You see those lights? They're burning out too soon in ordinary soft white light bulbs. But not me. I'm in Sylvania soft white bulbs. Why, in this 60 watt alone, I can burn 50 more hours. And only these Sylvania bulbs have a guarantee. So get Sylvania soft white light bulbs instead of those guys with a dim future.
Ask for Sylvania, where the best comes to light.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Hey, that truck runs, a Fisher & Son doesn't.
Only gets the big Q. Quaker State.
Well, you can depend on number 1.
Fuel pop, they start with Pennsylvania grade crude.
Nothing like Quaker State.
It's a one-of-a-kind formula. Stable viscosity, keeps the oil flowing, protecting, no matter what.
No substitute for quality. I got 2 great partners.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Observe the perfect crime. Costly energy escaping on all sides. What's this? Pink Owens Corning insulation. Yes, it's saving money in the attic, saving money in the walls, in the crawl space and basement. The perfect crime. Solved by myself. And pink fiberglass insulation.
Owens Corning. Our building products put your house in the pink.
CBS Sports coverage of college football will continue after this word from your local station. This is CBS.
First light in southern New England. Henry's first chore of the morning. Tracy's first day at school. Jonathan's first store. Rennie's first and Nina's 71st birthday. Every day, all over southern New England, people are outgrowing, outdoing, and outsharing new experiences. For almost 30 years now, Channel 3 has been there to help share your experience with others. We keep you up on news and weather, try to keep you healthy, and save you a little money. We introduce you to some good kids. Even show your old high schools come from behind victory. Age-old traditions and an eagerness to grow. That's southern New England today. And no matter what part of it you call home, we're there to share. Maybe that's why more people come home to Channel 3.
Join Agronsky and Company, Saturday at 7.
Night starting to fall here in Columbus, an overcast day, and the lights, which were installed for this game, are turned on, and we have a new stadium record, 90,467. They sat through some rain, and they watched the Buckeyes of Earl Bruce go ahead, and then they watched the Hawkeyes of Hayden Fry rally. Now we'll start the second half. Mark Cook kicks it off deep into the end zone. It'll be down there by Ross. A touchback. It'll be brought out to the 20-yard line, and the Buckeyes will go to work right there. Hayden Fry conferring over there on the sideline. The man who has done such a remarkable job of rebuilding this program is talking to backup quarterback Mark Vlasic, and there is the final. Florida downs Auburn 14-10, and Bo Jackson suffered a bruised thigh. So it has been a tough 2 weeks for superstars in college football. In fact, it's been a tough year. 1st and 10 now. John Woolridge is the tailback. He goes in motion. Carsados wants to throw on 1st down. Complete to Lanise. Driven out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Sims was over there covering on the play.
Not bashful at all. Bruce comes right out smoking with Carsados right now, and Carsados is right on target. So they're starting exactly what they did in the first quarter. Mike Lanise, number 1. Drost looked like he almost had his hand up there, number 76, to knock the ball down. Just passed to the side of his hand.
This is a very big drive for the Buckeyes. Having given up that touchdown, they want to come right back. There's the fullback, Cooper. He bangs out to the 36-yard line.
Stop by George Davis.
This is one of the better passing Ohio State teams that we have seen, Coach.
Yeah, I noticed that last week against Minnesota as we watched Carsados come up with some clutch passes, particularly when they were down 19-10. He brought the Buckeyes back, and he hit some passes that I didn't think he could get in to zone coverage where there were 3 people around the defender or the receiver.
Taggart goes strong to the left. The Hawkeyes show blitz, and Sims backs on out. Now Sims tightens up on the wide man, and they run Woolridge right straight ahead. And he is hit by Devon Mitchell, and he is short of a 1st down.
They had the hole at the line of scrimmage pretty well blocked, but good recovery by the secondary and linebackers kept that from being a big gainer.
3rd and 3 for Ohio State. And Hutchison brings the play in from the sideline. Lanise in motion. Here's the fullback, right straight ahead, close to a 1st down, but he may have been stopped short. Depending on where they spot that ball right now.
Looks like he's just a little short.
Pat Peterson, Larry Station, and Jeff Rost.
See where they mark it. Important play for both teams. For Iowa as well as the Buckeyes.
They're going to leave the ball right there and bring the chains clear across the field here for the measurement. Ohio State leading Iowa 15-7. They got that safety on a blocked punt here in the 1st half. And Cooper did get the 1st down.
I think that's very important because possession, as I mentioned earlier in the telecast, is very important to the Buckeyes. Whether you realize it or not, Iowa had the ball a longer period of time in the 1st half than the Buckeyes did.
Carter goes to the left. Lanise is to the right. Taggart the tight end. Lanise in motion. Carsados goes to the wide side, and the motion man Lanise, who steps out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Another 1st down for Ohio State.
Boy, Norvell, the strong safety, was shaking his head because he almost was in an interception position. Watch, Lanise breaks to the outside. You'll see Norvell, number 45, right there. Can't get to it. The ball was thrown over his head, but he thought he might be able to get a piece of it. Devon Mitchell giving a little necktie there.
Lanise doing an excellent job after making the reception when he turned around, seeing how far he had to go for the first down before he went out of bounds. Now the wide side of the field is to Carsados' right. They run Woolridge right straight ahead. And he blasts across the 40-yard line, and the Buckeyes on the move again. John Breeze, 57, on top of the ball carrier that time. Next week, of course, it's Miami, and they will take on Maryland in the great revenge match here at 3:30 Eastern time on CBS. And also, out on the West Coast, Arizona State will take on Washington, and that game, of course, has Rose Bowl implications as far as the Pac-10 is concerned. Then in 2 weeks, Iowa against Purdue, and Maryland against Clemson will be our 2 games. And it's still to be determined if Iowa will be #1 then. Little delay, great draw with Cooper, the fullback, and he's down inside the 15-yard line. He carried a couple of tacklers with him.
The same little sprint draw that Michigan State used so successfully that Cooper used in the second quarter down at the opposite end of the field. Left guard Jeff Uhlenhake makes a great block on the play. Watch here. Carsados reverse pivots, and you'll see Cooper just kind of hesitate. Uhlenhake blocking Peterson clear across the hole, and look at this daylight. Station, number 36, blocked by Maggs because he overreacts. Big play.
9 carries by Cooper for 73 yards. Here's Woolridge, and Jeff Drost comes in behind and helps pull him down close to the 15-yard line. Earl Bruce telling us in our meeting era that he wanted to build on what Michigan State had done offensively. He really didn't think that Michigan had done a very good job offensively, but he said Michigan State showed us some things we think we can use, and that play obviously is one of them.
That, along with the single coverage that the Carsados is throwing, manages to find a single receiver with no underneath coverage, has been successful, and that little sprint draw is a tough play to defend against, particularly when you get fast-flowing linebackers like Station there, 36.
Carsados off a great fake, and it's incomplete. Carsados complaining. He said his receiver was interfered with.
Let's see what happens on the play. There's a little complaint there as to whether or not there was interference. It's holding him up. Let's see what happens right here. There's the... Let's see. Oh, yes. My goodness, that is interference. I didn't see it.
You talked on the sideline? My goodness, Mr. Official.
No. But for the public consumption, I'm a bit more careful. But they get the general idea.
3rd and 11. Here's Cooper on that sprint draw again, and this time Iowa brings him down short of the 10-yard line. And that time it was Larry Station era again. It's a field goal situation. Here comes Rich Spangler. This is the 4th time that the Buckeyes have been knocking on the door, and each time they've had to attempt, actually the 5th time. They've already missed 1 field goal, converted 3.
It's a tribute to the Iowa defense because they've given a lot of yardage in the middle of the field, and they get down inside that 20-yard line, and they've really stiffened up and made it tough for the Buckeyes. And Spangler has missed 1 field goal.
This one's no good either. And that is an enormous miss by the Buckeyes. No one feels any worse about it than the young man who attempted it, Rich Spangler. It's 15-7. Iowa's turn it back when you come back.
Now, Chevy announces finance savings up to $1,524 on new 85 S10 Blazer, America's most popular sport utility vehicle. Choose InstaTrack 4-wheel drive, available V6, all the comforts. Save up to $1,060 on new 85 S10 pickup and Maxi Cab 2. Get big 8.8% finance savings on any new 85 Chevy S10 in dealer stock. But this offer is for a limited time, so hurry. Nothing works like a Chevy truck.
Now, another way to spell relief. Use sodium-free Rolaids. Like regular Rolaids, it consumes all the acid required to bring millions 100% relief. Plus, it's rich in calcium. Regular Rolaids and use sodium-free Rolaids for 100% relief.
Monday, how many Schick
Tuesday,
can you get
Wednesday,
from one
Thursday,
Schick disposable?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
How many does your disposable give you?
He may be the back of the future. We may start a new trend in football.
Hand off to Perry, crashes the right side line, touchdown!
The Bears against the Packers tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Era, show us that play that they were complaining about.
Watch Taggart here, number 80, right here at left end, releases off the line. Right here, Norvell, number 45, comes up and grabs him. I think Iowa got away with one there. Let's watch it. You see Taggart coming off the line, looking for the ball. Now, Norvell comes up and grabs him, and you cannot make contact with a man after he's even or past you.
And Taggart breaks free in the end zone, and look at what he sees when he first looks up. Right in the official's face, asking him, rather pleading with him, as to why the flag wasn't thrown on the play. But regardless, Ohio State has missed its second field goal. They've hit two. They're 500. First and 10 for the Hawkeyes. And now it's Ronnie Harmon trying to get outside, gets around Lee, and gets out to the 28 before Pepper Johnson brings him down. Now they are tied 3-3. So Chris White hits the field goal that brings Illinois back, and what a big game that is in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they'll have some meaningness to the championship with a tie there, even though they maybe have lost the football. I mean, they have one loss on their record.
The Hawkeyes come up to the line of scrimmage. Second down and 2. And here's Hudson straight ahead for the first down. And the young fullback out of Waxahachie, Texas, doing a good job. And so while we correct the problem that we've got down here in the truck in Columbus, let's go to Pat Hayden in New York. Pat?
Brent, you just mentioned that Michigan-Illinois score. With 4 seconds left, Chris White tries this 37-yard field goal. It hits the crossbar. The score ends 3-3. Let's go back to Brent Nero.
So here we are, and it is Ronnie Harmon of the Hawkeyes getting out near the 40-yard line. Now, we are attempting to fix our technical problem down in the truck, so what we're going to do is stay with some one-camera coverage here while they work on that switcher downstairs in our remote vehicle out behind the Horseshoe Stadium here. So we have second down and 1, and we'll give it the coverage from the 50-yard line here with our director, Joe Assetti. Single setback for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and they run long right straight ahead for the first down. And that's out close to the 45-yard line. Chris Spielman, 36, getting in on the stop there, and he helps Harmon up to his feet.
Establishing a running game here, Brent, will help Chuck Long because it'll bring response by the defense to stop Harmon and Hudson in there, and maybe set up some more open receivers for him than they had in the first half.
8:25 to go. We're in the third quarter. Here's Harmon cutting back, has a hole, steps to the 45 and tries to spin free and gets to the 43.
And a well-blocked hole on the inside. He's finding daylight. You can see right here the fake to Hudson. He leads through and makes a great block on Spielman right there. And Harmon, watch this move. He tries to break it back to the inside here. I don't know how he makes this move, but you see Rogan, number 29, come in and grab him.
Well, I know we got limited facilities, but the men down there in the truck are doing a fine job right now. Replay work look good, men. Now they run Hudson right straight down close to the 40-yard line. Pepper Johnson, 98, and the captain of this defensive unit, in on the stop. And those members of the Iowa band who traveled here from Iowa City, they have to feel things moving in their direction right now. The Buckeyes with a lot of missed opportunities here this afternoon, and the Hawkeyes trying to cash in. Remember, Hayden Fry's team scored with time running out in the first half.
And it was an 88-yard, 14-play drive that led to the touchdown, and here they are with a nice drive running the football.
It's Harmon again with that little spin move, getting to the 39. It's going to be a big third down play coming up.
Eisenman, number 61 in there, playing the outside linebacker behind Byron Lee, made the play that time.
The defensive calls are signaled in from the Buckeye sideline, and then Pepper Johnson passes them on to the unit. And now Chuck Long with a third down and about 5 to go. And Long will call a timeout. He did not like the defense he was looking at, and he'll go over to the sideline to confer with head coach Hayden Fry, and we'll be right back.
Some of you are being asked to choose a long-distance phone company. If you don't choose, someone's going to choose for you, and you know how that could make you feel. So if AT&T's clear long-distance connections and full services are important to you, send in your ballot. AT&T Long Distance, for over 100 years. When you reached out, we were there. And you can keep it that way by making the choice yourself.
You're just so beautiful.
At Nationwide, we know how you feel about your car.
Your light.
And we give that same kind of care to your car insurance. That's why so many of our policyholders renew with us year after year.
Sleep tight.
So when you need blanket protection, call a Nationwide agent. Okay, I'll be right over. We know how you feel about your car.
Nationwide is on your side.
This bud's for all that you do. You keep America going. You keep the juices flowing. You are the muscle, the hope and the hustle. You keep the country growing. And you make America work. And this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This bud's for you.
A third down situation following a timeout by Chuck Long and the Hawkeyes. They are down 15-7 and apparently without Bill Happel, who was there rotating and trying to loosen up the left shoulder. He injured it in the first half when he was tackled as he went out of bounds on the far sideline. So Hayden Fry and his assistant coaches have switched to their speed receivers. Robert Smith is number 2 and Quinn Early is number 1. Chuck Long complaining that he cannot be heard. Now he goes ahead with the play. Waiting on third down, he's bumped. Gets the pass loose, and it is to 79. Mike Haight, and there's a penalty flag down all over the field because he's an offensive tackle.
Can't complete a pass to an offensive tackle, and that's what happened. Mike Haight, illegal receiver, loss of down, and I think it might take him out of field goal position. Take a look here, the pressure that he gets from the left side, right here as he tries to scramble out. Number 95 right there, Darrell Lee, gets him down, but that's Mike Haight, number 79, and he can't catch a ball. But if you'll see, Quinn Early, number 1, the lower part of your screen, runs right by, I think it's Golick. No, that's White, William White. Look how open he is. If Long could have seen him.
Aaron, Mike Haight was at the right offensive tackle spot when the play developed, and he was all the way on the ground, got back up to help out, and suddenly he saw the football headed his direction. So he caught it and turned upfield. He said maybe they'll think I'm an eligible receiver.
But that pressure by Darrell Lee on Long prevented Long finding Quinn Early on that play.
Gary Costrabala, who has had 1 punt block and a couple of near misses, will try again. Gets this one off. Lanise lets it bounce, and it'll go out of bounds. The official marking the ball over there was hit by one of the players there on his foot. They'll spot the ball around the 14-yard line. And that's where the Buckeyes will put it in play. So tomorrow on the NFL Today, 12:30 Eastern Time, Eric Dickerson and Dan Marino. What a difference a year makes for those two stars. The Bears and the Packers, John Madden live. And then, of course, we'll have our regional coverage. The Bears and the Packers. How about the Giants? A lot of people think they've got the best talent in the NFC East. Detroit plays Minnesota, Washington against Atlanta. A couple of late games, too. The Eagles playing very well lately. All tomorrow on CBS. Here it is, 1st and 10 now for the Buckeyes. Long count by Carsados. Runs the tailback Woolridge. Penalty flag is thrown, however. He gets out to the 30-yard line. The umpire just tossed it right in the direction of that offensive line.
Right in the middle. Looked like the left guard or center from the way he threw the flag. Yards. It's a big penalty because it was a big gainer, and you can see Earl Bruce is really upset by it.
Of course, it nullifies this 16-yard gain.
Let's see if we can pick it up.
They were holding
Hap
right
Peterson.
There.
I
There's
think
no question.
Yes, I think so. That's who it is.
Grabbed him by the belt.
Number 56, Jim Gilmore, I think.
Hello, Mr. Peterson. It's one way to stop that nose guard.
Good call. Who called that? Earl wants to know who called that.
I don't think Earl agrees with you, Earl.
There's number 71, Maggs. He's got his hand out there, but I think Gilmore, right here, number 56, kept Dross from coming back to the play. In any event, it's a 10-yard penalty.
First and 17. And they run Woolridge again, and Drost was ready for him that time. He delivered the first hit, and then Millette came in and cleaned up. So Penn State faced a big battle, but they came from behind to win that one. Army, and they're looking for a bowl bid, aren't they? Notre Dame in the second, leading Navy by 10 points. And of course, we'll have the Army-Navy game coming your way on December 7th here on CBS. Right now, it's Ohio State, Iowa. 5:40 to go, third quarter. Here's the second down for Carsados. Off the fake, he's got time. Intercepted by Iowa. Jay Norvell has done it again, and he's down to the 19-yard line.
His 6th interception of the year, and what a big one it is because of the field position they have. There's an end zone look. There's 45. Jay Norvell dropping back out of there. He's a strong safety, but playing the too deep zone. You can see right there, Carsados was not a good choice. He thought Lanise was going to break in front of Norvell, but Lanise was behind him. Big play for Iowa.
Well, the biggest play in that series was the holding call against the Buckeyes. And the Hawkeyes make the most of it. Opportunistic they have been this year. Jay Norvell talking to the defensive assistants upstairs. Again, Long complaining to the referee that he can't hear going into the closed end of the stadium. Here's Ronnie Harmon trying to wiggle free, and he cannot. Getting to about the 16-yard line. Ray Holloman, 55, was one of the first Buckeyes to hit him.
And Pepper Johnson in through.
Well, Arrow, when your quarterback is struggling the way Long has here this afternoon, and you're very much in the game, what are you careful of at this juncture when you're Hayden Fry?
Well, he's got great field position. He's got 4 downs to do it. In the event that he doesn't get the first down, of course, he'll have to make a choice between the field goal and the touchdown. I think I'd go for the field goal. But Long, they're very dangerous down in here. They've gotten into the end zone when they get good field position. It's one of the few times in this game that they've had field position.
Here's Harmon, hole in the middle, close to the 10-yard line, and you have to get to just about the 9-yard line for a first down. So they're going to have a third and short coming up here.
Harmon's got great feet. Watch him move as they come through the hole here. Pepper Johnson, 98, overreacts there. Now he starts to come back. But look at Harmon stop, spin off, come forward for another yard or two. This is a tough defensive call for Ohio State. Do they want to go to a goal line and get single coverage on the wide receivers, or play it conservative with a standard defense? Let's see what they do.
Now Iowa will show the power eye.
Goal line look.
And this time, a discretionary timeout because of the noise going in. So now they must come over to the sideline and, of course, alert Coach Bruce and the Buckeye fans to quiet down a little bit. And there you see the players, and here's the announcement.
The offensive team must be able to hear those signals. We request any further result in a charge timeout to the defense, or possibly a penalty. We ask you please your cooperation.
So the raindrops continuing to come down here in Columbus, Ohio. The Iowa Hawkeyes come up with about a 3rd and 2. They'll have Hudson, Bush, and Harmon behind Long. Double tight end. Harmon cuts back, struggling to get the first down, and he may be short of it.
See where they mark it.
Pepper Johnson, 98, stepped up into that hole. The decision now, the pressure is on Hayden and his coaches.
Let's try to give the ball to Harmon over that right side, trying to pick up that necessary yardage. There isn't much of a hole there. He comes back, and as you pointed out, Pepper Johnson picks him up.
We have to do that at least once a week. Call him Pepper Rogers. I know I did once last week. And there's Pepper stepping in there, and he's wrestling Harmon down. All right, power I. Harmon tries to go over the top, cannot make it. Ohio State ball.
What a defense. Watch the penetration by the blitzing linebackers. Come in and make stop Harmon. Harmon tries to dive over the pile. I can't quite see who the first man is on him, but a great defense. Here's another view. That's Terry White coming in here. And there's the tackler right there. I can't quite pick up his number, but a terrific job of defense.
And on first down, they just power out straight ahead with Cooper, and they get to the 25-yard line. We take a look now behind the defense. Now this was 4th down and short, and Harmon tried to go up over the top, but he actually jumped right into the arms of one Chris Spielman. And down he goes with the Buckeyes celebrating as they hold the Iowa Hawkeyes on 4th and 1. George Cooper, the fullback, carried the ball, was shaken up on that play. He's down. Now he's up. He's fine. But we got a timeout here in Columbus. We'll be right back.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. Be all you can be. Brought to you by the U.S. Army. All-American linebacker Larry Station is the mainframe of the Iowa defense. An honor roll senior majoring in computer science, Station has developed several programming innovations. After graduation, the defensive captain plans to develop software and someday captain his own computer firm. On the field, there's nothing soft about the Hawkeye software designer. He takes megabytes out of offensive programs. Larry Station strives to be the best he can be.
Now there's a new route to college. The new GI Bill plus the new Army College Fund. If you qualify, you can earn over $25,000 for college while you learn things no one can put a price on. The new GI Bill plus the new Army College Fund.
Be all that you can be.
Together, they can put you on the road to college.
Find your future in the Army.
Iowa quarterback Chuck Long back on the sideline, waiting now for the defense to get him the ball back as the rain continues to come down in Columbus. And of course, Long and the Hawkeyes are familiar with rain. He once threw 6 touchdown passes, but this defense here in Columbus has not been yielding here this afternoon. They've given up only 1 score against a team that is averaging 40 points a game to lead the nation. And they were just stopped on 4th and 1. And then the big fullback Cooper came out, and he got an important first down, Coach.
He really did, because Ohio State, even though they stopped, the Iowa Hawkeyes did not have the ball in good field position, and Cooper just popped right up the middle and took the ball out to the 24 in less dangerous area.
Bill Matlock checks in as fullback. They run the tailback Woolridge, And he gets out to the 30-yard line, and Larry Station making the stop. Let's go to New York now for an update, and here's Jim Nance.
All right, Brent, running down some of the scores in the top 10. Nebraska will become the 6th school to win 600 games in school history. They lead Kansas State 27-3 in the 4th quarter. Also, Big 8, Oklahoma, big day from their freshman quarterback, Jameel Holloway. They lead Kansas. Another good freshman performance by quarterback Chip Ferguson of Florida State. 2 touchdown passes. They're 10 up on Miami. Let's go back to Brent Nero.
All right, Cooper has returned after missing one play because of the injury. Second down, they run him right away, and the Hawkeyes were ready. Richard Pryor, 99, the left end. Closed in quickly on him. Brought him down. Cooper on the afternoon has been a real force for the Buckeyes. He's carried 12 times for 88 yards.
Pryor really puts a good hit on Cooper right there, 99. Really stops 245-pound George Cooper. Great tackle by Pryor.
Now, in case you were not with us at the top of the broadcast, Keith Byers, the Ohio State All-American, is out and will not play here this afternoon. Single setback showing on this third down. Carsados off a fake. Throws complete. First down. And the tight end, Ed Taggart, with a 14-yard gain for the Buckeyes.
Boy, that was a great catch by Taggart. The ball was thrown low and beyond him, and he made a nice diving effort for it and hung on to it.
The ball is at the 43. It's 1st and 10. We are down to 1:20 left in the 3rd quarter. Cooper near midfield. Norvell and Mitchell making the stop, but Cooper is starting to wear down that defensive front.
He really is. You know, Cooper came in here averaging 4.7. You know, that makes a lot of first downs if we keep the ball in his hands. Also sets up the passing plays for him.
2nd down and 4. Woolridge, the tailback, behind Cooper. They slot Carter to the right. They run Cooper straight ahead. And he is short of the first down. Hap Peterson, the nose guard, number 50. Kept Cooper from getting the first down as the offensive line of the Hawkeyes sits on the side and waits right now. Their guard, Tom Humphrey, hoping that time does not run out before they can rally the top-rated team in the nation. And here the seconds tick down on the 3rd quarter. Ohio State content to let it run out. They lead 15-7, and it was a defensive play that did it. On 4th and 1, they stopped Ronnie Harmon. We'll be right back for the final 15 minutes.
I've got a headache this big, and it's got Excedrin written all over it.
I've got a headache this big, and it's got Excedrin written all over it.
Excedrin, the big headache medicine. More medicine than any regular strength pain reliever. The most medicine you can buy without a prescription. Nothing is stronger.
I had a headache this big, but I took Excedrin, and it's gone.
Excedrin, from Bristol Myers. Excedrin, the headache medicine.
Witness the birth of a bright new star. Created through the joint effort of General Motors and Toyota. Nova, from today's Chevrolet. Nova, the best of both worlds. With room and comfort, attention to details, and responsive performance. New Nova, from today's Chevrolet. It's not just better, it's the best of both worlds.
Drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy.
Nova.
This is CBS.
Woody, here's your expense money. And bring back a heavy hitter.
On your way to another town, you can't spend a lot, but you know how to get around. Avis makes it easy, easy on the traveler, yeah.
Avis tries harder. Our super value rates give you more for less.
Bush leagues, college towns, and lots make the rounds.
Ryan, number 2.
Avis makes it easy, easy on the traveler, yeah.
Woody, the kid's great. Who tipped you off?
His mother. Avis, so easy.
Buy a suit for $120 at most stores, and you might have to give up traditional styling, or quality materials, or precise tailoring. But for the same $120, you can get a finely tailored wool suit at Gentleman's Warehouse. Because we don't just sell suits, we make them. Which means for $120, you don't have to give up a thing. Gentleman's Warehouse. Traditional clothing at prices that go against tradition.
NFL excitement, Sunday at noon.
CBS Sports presents college football. Sponsored by American Airlines. Something special in the air. And by Goodyear, makers of the great performing all-season radio, Vector.
"15 minutes to go, and the Buckeyes up by 8 points. They have a 3rd and 2 as we start the 4th quarter. Long count by Carsados. And the tailback, Woolridge, bangs in close to a 1st down. Now, this is how we started this afternoon. Rich Spangler kicked a 28-yard field goal, and the Buckeyes went up by 3. Then a safety, as Sonny Gordon blocked a punt out of the end zone, made it 5-0. The lead became 12-0 when John Woolridge exploded for 57 yards and the touchdown. Then Spangler added a 2nd field goal. With time running out in the 2nd quarter, the Hawkeyes came back and got their touchdown on a 3-yard run by Ronnie Harmon. 15-7. And now, because they were short of the 1st down, Tom Tupa will be punting with Ronnie Harmon and Robert Smith set deep. 2 dangerous return men. And Tupa capable of putting it in the end zone. He hangs it high. Harmon wants the fair catch, fakes it, lets the ball bounce, and it goes out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. At the 13-yard line, Tom Tupa does his job. Now, this afternoon in Champaign, Michigan and Illinois tied at 3. So here is the significance of that. Take a look at the standings right now in the Big Ten. Michigan and Illinois 3-1-1. Iowa with the lead, and they can keep that lead if they tie Ohio State. They're 8 points back. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. A tie does not hurt the Hawkeyes that much as far as the Rose Bowl is concerned. It would affect other things. Long is back to throw. He has time to the sideline. Helverson, and Helverson springs free, fumble at the 30-yard line. The officials go to the Buckeyes with the recovery. Fred Ritter, the left defensive tackle, was down at the bottom of that pile, and Hayden Fry quickly checks up at that clock.
And a great contact fumble. Here's a look at it from ground level. Long is right on target to Helverson. Helverson shakes the tackler. You'll see right here into your picture. Right there, Rogan misses. Now watch this contact by Terry White along with Sullivan, and the Buckeyes have recovered.
1st and 10 for the Buckeyes. Ball is hit the 31. And here's Cooper pounding ahead with the fullback, and he gets inside the 25-yard line. Now the clock beginning to run down. Buckeyes will use long counts. They'll take their time. They'll keep it on the ground. Cooper up over 100 yards. Let me straighten out the fact that our graphic said Illinois was not eligible for the Rose Bowl. They certainly are. They're on probation until January 1st. And here is Woolridge inside the 20-yard line. And Jay Norvell makes the stop, and it's another Ohio State 1st down. Cooper on the day is averaging 7 yards. Woolridge, who ran 57 for a touchdown, was shaken up. He is playing, of course, with a torn muscle in a rib cage. He is clutching over at that side. And that means the freshman Workman is in there. First down. Here comes Workman to the short side. The hole is there. Workman got down inside the 5-yard line.
Defense. Take a look at Workman pop right through the hole. Maggs opens a beautiful hole right there. Workman finds it and comes all the way down to about the 5-yard line.
Now watch here as Workman came just so close from exploding and getting into the end zone. But Norvell delivered the first glancing blow that slowed him up. Now it is first and goal inside the 5. Workman stopped short at the 4-yard line. Freeze, number 57, and also Gear, 94. Combined to bring him down.
Both linebackers firing in there. Excuse me, Brett. Both the linebackers stationed. Davis popping through there. They really rise to the occasion down around the goal line. They've really made it tough on the Buckeyes when they get inside that 10-yard line.
Here's Workman looking for a hole. Touchdown, Ohio State. Taste of why the Buckeyes are so tough to beat here in Columbus.
And also you can see the effect of a turnover. The fumble by Halverson giving Ohio State Buckeyes good field position. They finally capitalized it on it.
The extra point is good. They move 31 yards in 5 plays.
The same little pitch play. It's well blocked by the entire left side. You see number 71 pulling, coming across. That's Maggs, the center, and stretching into the end zone, and you see the official signaling the touchdown.
The pressure is on the number 1 ranked Hawkeyes. We'll be right back.
Not so very long ago, the average 4-cylinder engine looked something like this. But these days, 4-cylinder engines look a little more like this. That's why we developed new Valvoline 4-Guard motor oil, specially formulated to protect today's harder-working, more complex 4-cylinder engines. And it won't break down, even after 7,500 miles. Times have definitely changed. So maybe it's time to change your oil to new Valvoline 4-Guard.
Here, hold my crush.
Looks good.
Yeah, real orangey. Just hold it.
Orange crushes inside, your eyes get bigger, your mouth gets wider till those all-natural flavors are deep inside. Your crush is so irresistible, you can't keep a bottle full. Hey, my crush.
I couldn't help myself.
Have a crush on sugar-free Crush, too, sweetened with 100% NutraSweet. There's no saccharine aftertaste.
So it has been this kind of afternoon for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Justin Long hopes to get something going by hitting one of his favorite targets, Halverson, who has been virtually ignored here this afternoon in Columbus. A vicious blow is delivered by Sullivan. The ball pops free, and then as a result, the Buckeyes put another touchdown on the board.
You can see what happens to you when you have a turnover. Ohio State capitalized on it, marched the ball in 31 yards on the ground. Cooper, for the first time in his career, has 102 yards, and he was one of the big factors.
11 minutes and 39 seconds to go. And you can see how dearly Iowa has paid for its turnovers here this afternoon. Spangler to kick it off. Kevin lets it bounce on out of the end zone. Went over his head, took a big hop, and on the touchback, it'll come out to the 20-yard line.
You know, Brent, I'm wondering whether or not Long was hurt. He only threw one pass in the third quarter, and it was incomplete. He did come out and complete the pass to Halverson. I wonder if his arm is bothering him, or they just decided to stay on the ground because of the defensive coverages.
Well, Errol, we're about to find out, because they'll have to go long here and try to get one quickly. Now, they leave Kevin Harmon in the game, number 28. And Chuck, no nonsense, no play fake, just drop back. There's a penalty marker down. Interception. Oh, Rogan dropped the ball on that far side. And Errol, I think you're right about Chuck Long, because I believe that may be Vlasic. Lars Long is back in the game now, but they wanted Vlasic to try something. Chuck Long brings the Hawkeyes up. Second down, dropping back. He hits Hudson. Hudson out to the 27-yard line. He's short of the first down. So for Chuck Long, he must rally the Hawkeyes here quickly. There's no play fakes going on right now. He is simply dropping right back and hoping he can spot somebody. His receivers were tied up, and off the move, he went to Hudson. It was more or less a safety valve outlet before Sullivan brings him down.
You note that we still haven't seen him throw long yet. It's all been short passes.
Bill Happel will try it again. Here comes Kevin Harmon, breaks a tackle, first down, gets out to the 40 and out to the 45. Well, if Ronnie Harmon doesn't hit you with a big gain, Kevin Harmon will come after you.
Well, he's a dangerous runner. You see here from the end zone, from the Ohio State perspective, he waits for his blocking to form. Right there, 95 misses the tackle, which is Lee. He shakes another tackler. And before William White comes over, he gains a lot of yardage on that play before he's knocked down, but takes him out of poor field position.
22-7. 10-17. Long back again. Throwing down the sideline, this time incomplete. And there's a penalty marker down over by the 30-yard line.
I don't know, did they call on Eisenman, number 61? He was covering man on man, whether or not they called interference over there or not.
And the flag is down near the 30-yard line. And it's going against the Buckeyes.
Number 61, Derek Eisenman, was covering man on man. And apparently, let's see if we can tell right there on the coverage, see whether he pushes him or reaches out and grabs him. Well, I can't see it from that point. It must have happened earlier. Although he's throwing the flag right there.
Now, let's take a look at this from the end zone at a little bit earlier now and watch him. He had brushed up against him, and the official is already reaching his hand. He had already gone for the flag after the ball was falling down, so there was contact there on the sides. First and 10, fumble, and recovered by the Hawkeyes, and they managed to gain about 3 yards on it. Long picked up the bobbled ball. Johnson on top of him there. 9:56 to go, and of course the key here now is for the Hawkeyes to get a quick touchdown. They send their speed into the game. Helverson leaves, Quinn early, and Smith check in. But that secondary of Ohio State has been sensational here this afternoon. Remember, a year ago they started 3 freshmen, and they are now sophomores out there in that secondary, and they are doing a job. William White, he is one of the sophomores. Terry White is sophomore, and Greg Rogan the other one. Long pulls out fake, goes down, has an open man, complete inside the 20-yard line. It'll be another first down for the Hawkeyes as he hits Flagg, his tight end.
He's been kind of quiet today. Mike Flagg, he's only caught, I think, one pass. This is a 20-yarder this time. He's a big guy, 6'6", 244 pounds, and it doesn't appear to be anything wrong with Long's arm right here as he delivers right on target as Rogan, 29, comes up and brings him down.
And with that completion, he just became the Big Ten career total offense leader. So Chuck Long, now at 9,155 yards, moves ahead of Mark Harmon and all the other great quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Long throwing, Halverson, and it's incomplete.
There's a flag on the field, and I think it's against Iowa. I don't know whether you'd want to take the down here, make it second down from that position, or take the 5-yard penalty.
Nine minutes left here in the fourth quarter. And the Hawkeyes needing a touchdown to get back in this. They trail 22-7.
Halverson was open, too, in the end zone. I think the contact after the attempted reception, that's William White, number 37, trying to come back right there. It looks like a reception right here, and the ball comes out from Halverson right there as Terry White and William White make contact with him. There comes the ball out.
It'll be a 1st and 15 as a result of that penalty. And the ball is going to be put down at around the 22-yard line as they readjust the clock here in Columbus. That's why the play was stopped. So tomorrow on the NFL Today at 12:30 Eastern Time, Eric Dickerson and Dan Marino. A look at those two stars and what a difference a year makes for them. And of course the grudge matchup in Green Bay. I'm sure the Bears are up in Green Bay now. Many of them probably watching this game, getting ready for tomorrow's confrontation against the Green Bay Packers. The angry Green Bay Packers. They had a bit of a confrontation in their locker room following last week's loss. We'll hear about that tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time. Here in Columbus, Ohio, I'm Brett Musburger along with Ara Parsigan. The unbeaten and top-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes are in trouble. They trail Ohio State 22-7, but they have advanced the ball inside the 25-yard line. It'll be a 1st and 15 coming up for Chuck Long, who just moments ago passed Mark Herman, and he is now the all-time total yardage leader in the Big Ten. But this has not been his best afternoon. Long is back, waiting, throws for the end zone, and Happel incomplete, and the penalty flag is down. Thrown in the end zone, Greg Rogan on Happel, and he drew the interference call in the end zone, and the Hawkeyes stay alive.
The linebackers blitzed, both of them. It was picked up very nicely by the offensive line. He had man-to-man coverage on all the people, and it's awful tough when Long is working one-on-one with just any of his receivers. And you'll see here, throws it one-on-one right there. There's the interference, the contact, definitely without any question on Happel. Good call by the official.
And now the rain continues to come down harder here in Columbus. As you take a look at Rogan going in behind Happel, there was obvious contact. Two officials down with the flags right away. And the ball will be 1st and goal. They'll put it down at the 8-yard line. Now Ronnie Harmon, who scored their only touchdown, has been replaced in the backfield by his brother Kevin Harmon. So it'll be Chuck Long with Hudson and Kevin, and a chance for the Hawkeyes to get right back in it. Long will throw on 1st down, rolling to the right. He's got time and he's got a hole, throws it, incomplete. They rule that Halverson was out of bounds, and he's furious. They say he did not have control of the ball,
His feet were out of bounds. Just looking at it from here, had a pretty good shot of it. Looked like his feet were out of bounds. It was a good call by the official. We get an isolation right on Halverson right here. Number 87, covered right there by William White, 37. He turns out. Long throws the ball. He comes back up the field. Then he breaks to the outside to the sideline. I don't know whether they're going to be able to see the line here or not, but his feet right there are definitely out of bounds.
So an incomplete pass, and for the afternoon, Chuck Long is 13 of 25 for 128 yards, and he has those 3 costly interceptions. Now it is 2nd and goal. And they run right straight ahead. Kevin Harmon down near the 2-yard line.
Hudson, the ball carrier.
So Ronnie's younger brother. I say, sorry, check that. That was Hudson, the fullback, coming through. That time getting down to the 2-yard line.
Just a straight handoff here. Good running. Look at him dive back to the inside and find that hole. Hudson really is a good football player. He's a real load. They can't bring him down.
He's made some big gains here this afternoon. Here's 3rd and 2 now for the Hawkeyes, and Hudson will be the lone setback. They'll run Hudson. He dives over the top, and he's got the touchdown for Iowa. The Hawkeyes stay alive in Columbus. Now, he should probably go for 2 right now, Era.
Yes.
The first time, because if you fail here, you got to come back.
Yeah, he needs the 15 points. They have to go for the 2 points. Absolutely. Here's from the side as you see the offensive line fire out. Gives the ball. Watch him dive over the pile. Unfortunately, with all the glaze of the water there, you can't see the line, but he definitely is in the end zone for the touchdown. 13 points now. They will go for the 2 to try to make it 15.
Up over the top. And a lot of time left here in Iowa City. We've got 8 minutes and 19 seconds. 22 to 13.
Generally, you come into a ball game and you've already decided what you want to do on your 2-point play. They've rehearsed this during the week. Let's see whether it's a pass, run, or option.
From the power eye, Bush in motion.
Option.
Long options. Here's Kevin. Kevin cannot get there. He is stopped by Sonny Gordon, number 7. So the young man who blocked a punt for a safety in the first half.
And that is a big,
saving tackle.
Big play on this. They did try to run the option away from the motion man. You can see Kummerow forces him to throw the ball, and the option is not there as Rogan comes in and stops it short. And that's a big play because it's going to require 2 scores to get ahead of the Buckeyes.
And we'll be right back for the final 8:19 in just a moment.
Try one on. Celebrity Eurosport. Something more from today's Chevrolet. Celebrity Eurosport. Drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy. Celebrity.
There's something special on the horizon. American Airlines Ultimate Super Savers. Incredible low fares to over 90 cities throughout the continental U.S. and Canada. Discounts up to 70%. Fares from $44 to $151. Call American Airlines for an Ultimate Super Saver before another day passes you by.
We're American Airlines, something special in the air.
On the NFL Today, a report on why the Packers are steaming at the Bears. Plus a look at record breakers Dickerson and Marino 1 year later. Tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Era, the tackle that mattered.
Well defensed here. As you see, Kummerow will come in and force the pitch by Long. William White will come up and take the pitch man, and the alley man will be Rogan, will come right in the alley here and make the tackle. Let's take a look at how it was done. Beautiful defense against the option. Kummerow, 14, forces the pitch. William White, 37, comes in. And Sonny Gordon, excuse me, I said Rogan, number 7, Sonny Gordon, right there making the play. A beautiful job, and I suppose playing the Minnesota option last week really helped him.
Oh, I think it sure did. Foggy gave him that look all game long. and it's 22-13. With the rain continuing to come down hard here in Columbus. 8 minutes and 19 seconds to go.
You can see Ohio State is deploying right now for the anticipation of an onside kick.
Cook tees it up.
Let's go.
It'll be down for a touchback, and Ohio State will come up and put it down 1st and 10. I think the Buckeyes are working on one of the most remarkable offensive statistics in the country right now. Here we are, almost 8 full games in. They have not lost a fumble yet this year. Now they're really going to be tested with this rain coming down, and the Hawkeyes will be clutching and grabbing at that ball on almost every down. But they have not lost a single fumble, and that's unbelievable for a college team or any football team at this point in the season.
Really is. That's an incredible statistic.
On 1st down, Cooper bangs straight ahead for 2 or 3 yards. Iowa wants badly to have 3 downs and out here if they can press a punt by Ohio State. The play's coming in from the sideline. Hutchison, a tight end, 81, delivers it to the huddle.
And Ohio State would like to bleed a lot of the time off the clock, just under 7 minutes, or 8 minutes right now. They'll take their time. They'd like to punch out some 1st downs here and not give Iowa the opportunities. But you got to bear in mind also that Iowa needs 2 scores to win.
Workman is the tailback era. He's going to come. He cuts back. And that's going to leave them with about a 3rd and 6 as Larry Station made the stop.
Tackled by Larry Station and Jeff Rust.
Larry Station, the All-American linebacker who was also an honor student back in Iowa City. In fact, if you go watch the Hawkeyes practice, sometimes you will ask the coach, Hayden Fry, where is Station, coach? He's at lab. He has classes that extend far into the afternoon. The young man who knows that there has to be a life after football.
How about that little sprint draw here?
There it is. Workman trying to come free, and Nate Creer would not let him.
Good defense by Iowa. They're going to force a punting situation here by Tupa. Be interesting to see whether or not Iowa goes after the block here, or whether or not they're going to try to deploy with a return. I think they'll go after Tupa on the block. You see here Workman trying to, on a little misdirection play, fairly well blocked. He comes through the hole, but you see Greer coming in here and stopping the play well short of the 1st down. Let's watch Iowa here to see if they come for the block.
Tupa gets it off. Robert Smith fields it at the 28. Looks for daylight, but that specialty team coverage of the Buckeyes has been sensational all game long. There is a penalty flag down. We'll wait to see what that is. That was a 47-yard Tupa punt and a 3-yard Smith return. And the ball would be put down. Inadvertent flag, we are told, fell on the field. So we've got a timeout. The ball will be spotted there on the 31-yard line.
The enemy. Rain. A mere 1/8 inch can float your car off the road. Thus the rationale for Vector, Goodyear's unique all-season radio. So advanced, its crisscross tread actually pumps away water to help more tire and your car stay on the road. The Goodyear Vector. It simply performs like no other tire in the world.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Still beautiful, Dad.
Took your brother through college, take you wherever you want to go.
On Quaker State.
Right. Smooth oil flow is what you want, protects the engine. See, Quaker State starts with Pennsylvania-grade crude, delivers stable viscosity.
You get great protection with the Big Q.
Hey, how come you know so much?
From listening to you.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Don't shoot me, please.
Tonight, a conspiracy to kill cops began a nationwide manhunt where 2 men had to balance the scales of justice. James Woods and Yaphet Kotto, badge of the assassin.
6 minutes and 10 seconds to go, and Era, that Ohio State defense has done a very good job today against Iowa's leading receivers.
Two leading receivers are Happel and Halverson. They've held Happel to 2 receptions, Halverson to 1, and the one that Halverson got, he fumbled, and the Buckeyes recovered and converted to a score.
Long to throw on first down. Forced out of the pocket. Now he comes back with the completed pass, and Kevin Harmon getting out near the 39-yard line. Chris Spielman over there as you take a look at some of the other action from around the country this afternoon. There's the Pac-10. Era, we are told from the field that Ronnie Harmon is not injured. I'm surprised by that report, because if he's not injured, I'm fully expecting him to be in, especially on the 2-point play. Now, his last appearance here this afternoon was on that 4th and 1 when he jumped up and was caught short. Now, his younger brother is on the field, and Bush is the fullback, set in front of him. Off a fake, long to throw, goes down the middle for Robert Smith, and incomplete. Quinn Early was there too, number 1.
The pass intended for number 1, Quinn Early.
Terry White has been all over the field. The free safety, number 12, he was there to knock the ball down again. Take a look at it from the end zone. You'll watch the deep throw here by Long, and you'll see Terry White come in front of Smith, right there, and knock the ball down. And Terry White has had quite an afternoon.
5:51. On third down, complete for the first down to midfield.
The pass is complete to number 87, Scott Halverson.
So Halverson, with only his second catch of the day for 12 yards, has the first down.
Let's take another look. You'll see Halverson come from the middle of your screen and then back across the middle. Right here as it's cleared out by Flag. Great catch right there. And he's really hit by Rogan, number 29. But it's a first down with 5:35 left to go in the ball game.
The ball is at midfield. Hawkeyes, remember, need 2 scores, a touchdown and a field goal. Long with time, comes to the sideline, complete again. Out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
The pass is complete to number 86, Mike Flag.
So Flag, the tight end, with another 13-yard gain before Rogan got him out of bounds.
That's the good thing. They got out of bounds and stopped the clock. They just fake a run action in here. Long finds Flag over on the right side. He has plenty of time. There's very little pressure on him here. You'll see Flag get the ball and get out of bounds and stop the clock, and that's what they need to do.
Kevin Harmon up the middle. Got to the 31-yard line.
Kevin Harmon was the ball carrier. Tackled by Ray.
Now the top 10 teams made out today. Bo Jackson, injured thigh, did not play in the second half of that game. Penn State rallied to win. Michigan and Illinois tied in Champaign. And Nebraska rolled. Air Force an easy winner. Likewise Oklahoma. But here, the top team in the country, the Hawkeyes of Iowa, struggling. 2nd and 5. He completes it to Robert Smith. Down to the 23-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes. 4:35 on the clock.
Doing a lot of the underneath patterns. That's Robert Smith, number 2, that came to the middle. Little short passes, but they needed the first down here to stop the clock as they move the chains. You see right here, Robert Smith comes across the middle, stops, turns, and goes back the other way, picks up some additional yardage. He's a clever little guy. That's number 14 that comes in there. Looking ahead, Brent, there's 2 timeouts left by Iowa. They have 2 timeouts left.
Kevin Harmon is caught that time. Pepper Rogers stepped right in there.
Pepper Johnson. Pepper Johnson, number 98, 250 some odd pounds, and can really move. He filled the hole well that time.
We'll still make Pepper Rogers an All-American yet, but this sure is over.
Yeah. He's happy to get all the advertising.
That's right. Second down and 12. Long back. Incomplete and out of bounds. Helverson, the intended receiver.
After the video number 87, Scott Helverson, pass incomplete. Greg Rogan and Terry White defending.
It's 3rd and 12 here, Aaron. They certainly have got to be thinking for the touchdown, and Hayden unhappy with how things have gone here this afternoon.
Well, he something that he doesn't like. You can see he's really upset. Whether it's somebody that ran the wrong route on the play, but they've got 2 downs to make it, not just 1.
Open is early.
Oh,
they had it, but White hammered him. Terry White just leaned into him inside the 5-yard line.
And he saved the touchdown with that hit, because that was going to be a score for Iowa.
The big play man in that secondary for the Buckeyes, number 12, Terry White. Quinn Early has the ball inside the 5, and he is hit immediately by White, who was shaken up as he delivered that blow. And he is down, and that gives us an opportunity to take a break here in Columbus. 3:33 to go. It'll be 4th down and time running out for Iowa.
When do you say LA?
You know, I used to tend bar, and I've observed that sometimes when you're having a good old time, it's possible to get a little carried away. That's why I like LA from Anheuser-Busch. LA tastes great and has just half the alcohol. And sometimes that's a darn good idea. Like my daddy used to say, the real trick to carrying on is not getting carried away. That's beautiful.
LA, sometimes it's the perfect thing to say.
Just when you thought you'd missed out on low finance rates, Chevrolet announces new low 8.8% financing on some of our most popular new Chevys with manual transmissions. Save up to $1,070 in finance charges on Chevy Cavalier, $1,570 on Chevy Camaro, $910 on Chevy Chevette. This is a limited time offer, so hurry. Get low 8.8% financing. You can save on finance charges through November 20th. See your Chevy dealer now.
Last season, Maryland stormed back to take a thriller from Miami. See their rematch, or Washington against Arizona State next Saturday on CBS Sports.
3:33 to go, and Iowa needing 2 scores. So they have elected here to try for the field goal with Rob Houtland.
And we can expect an onside kick, particularly if they make it. Whether they make it or not, I would think they'll go for the onside kick. They have 2 timeouts left, though. Be about a 42-yarder.
Kick is on its way by Houtland. No good. Fame is such a fleeting thing. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were all honoring Rob Houtland when he kicked the field goal that beat Michigan. Here this afternoon, when the Hawkeyes need a field goal and then another touchdown, he misfires at a critical juncture.
Well, they needed that one badly with 3:28 left to go.
Now they'll work away at the clock. Cooper wrapped up by Jeff Drost.
Let's see when Iowa selects to use the 2 timeouts that they have left.
Jeff Drost.
Buckeyes bringing the clock down.
I think that if they stop the Buckeyes on this next play, they'll use the timeouts at this point to try to conserve what is left on that clock.
Workman straight ahead, and it'll go to third down. George Davis, the tackler.
They're taking one of the timeouts now.
Play by George Davis. Timeout, Iowa.
And while they take a break, so will we. We'll be right back in Columbus.
It's a jungle. That's how it feels when you're searching for life insurance. The natives don't speak your language. You feel lost, in the dark, scared. But there is a sign of civilization. With Prudential, your agent will explain things clearly and work with you until you have a piece of the rock you feel comfortable with. No wonder more people choose Prudential for life insurance than any other company. You'll feel right by the rock. Prudential Life Insurance.
The right parts. Mr. Goodwrench has the right parts for your GM car. Parts that fit. Parts engineered for your car by people who designed your car. Parts for every make and every model of virtually every GM car and light truck on the road today. Mr. Goodwrench can help you keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts, because no one knows your GM car better. No one.
He may be the back of the future. We may start a new trend in football.
Hand off to Perry. Crushes the right side. Touchdown! The Bears against the Packers tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Well, the Seminoles are tough in Tallahassee, and they lead Miami 24-21. And Maryland defeated North Carolina 28-10. And next Saturday afternoon on CBS, it'll be the Hurricanes of Miami against Maryland, 3:30 Eastern Time. Vinny Testaverde, the Miami quarterback, attempting to rally the Hurricanes this afternoon, and we'll see him in action next Saturday. Here we've got 2:37, a 3rd and 8, and Iowa badly needs the ball and a real quick touchdown. Carsados runs the draw. Workman is wrapped up, and now Tupa will punt. And Era, would you go for the block here?
I think I would, because they need 2 scores. They only have 2:23 left. They could get a quick score with the block, and they did come close earlier in the ball game when they attempted the block. They're going to have 10 men up on the line of scrimmage.
Robert Smith is set to return it.
Coming up the middle.
That's where the overload is. Long count, not drawing anybody.
Bleeding the time off the clock. They didn't take the time out.
And the flag goes down as the time runs out.
Ohio penalty.
Well, now we get confirmation of what I thought all along, that Ronnie Harmon was indeed injured. And it was a bruised ankle, we are told from the Iowa bench. Ronnie says that he can play, but Coach Fry said, I'm not taking any chances. And so he has elected to leave him on the sideline the rest of the way. So Harmon falls, and Keith Myers out with an injury, and here they come again, Aaron.
You saw Hayden checking his game plan, offensive game plan, preparing for the next drive here. Good blocking.
Here's Smith, the 35. What great kick coverage the Buckeyes have had here this afternoon. There's been no daylight on kickoffs or punts. A 45-yard punt and only a 3-yard return as Tupa hangs another one high.
And Mike Sullivan.
Boy, what a pickup he'll be someday for a National Football League team.
Looked like they picked up all the rushers right here, and no one got close to the punter. Good blocking. Norvell was going right up the middle, number 45.
I said to somebody, Era, that I have never seen a team practice the kicking game as much as Ohio State did in the 2 days that I went to their practices. They have stressed it over and over and over, and it has turned out so well for them here this afternoon. Now Long, with time running out, throws incomplete. He wanted Helverson again. Sullivan had dropped back, and so had Chris Spielman on pass coverage.
They need a big play. Helverson, number 87, just drives off. He has plenty of cushion here. As Rogan drops off, he doesn't want to give him anything cheap, but he does recover well. Ball's thrown wide of him.
2nd and 10, down to a minute and a half. Those 3 interceptions came in the first half, and they proved so critical as far as this game was concerned. Long's pass intercepted, number 4. Coming over and out of bounds is Chris Spielman, who puts a capper on it here in Columbus. The Hawkeyes are unbeaten no longer.
Well, you got to take your hat off to that Ohio State defense. That was the key in this ball game. You can see Hayden Fry really upset. It was wide open. He said somebody was wide open. Threw to the wrong man, apparently. Watch Spielman, number 36. Long has plenty of time. Throws the ball right at us practically. And you see Spielman right there. He was trying to hit Bobby Smith, number 1. And Spielman comes up with the play. What a defensive performance the Buckeyes have put on here. This is the football team that gave Purdue and Everett 500 yards. Everybody thought that they were not a very good defensive team. Pretty good offensive team, but boy, what a performance this has been by their defense.
Whistle sound as Carsados went down, and Ohio State will be content to let it run out. Their defensive coordinator is Gary Blackney. He formerly played football and coached at Connecticut. This is his 2nd year in here, and he told us what he hoped to do more than anything in the world was to throw Chuck Long off his rhythm early in the game. And they were able to do just that. And the Buckeyes have won their 20th straight game in Columbus. You remember at the top of the day when Hayden Fry said he walked his team around to pay honor to all those who have been buried here? Well, there's one more burial going on in Columbus right now.
When you knock off the number 1 team, I'll tell you there has to be a lot of jubilation, a lot of feeling. They came in here really pumped up. And number 12 right there, Terry White, what a game he played.
So the celebration is underway in Columbus. We've got 30 minutes on the clock, and we'll be right back.
DP Megatech, a professional system for your home, featuring the new Stomach Crunch, Butterfly, Torso Twister, 35 exercises for a mega workout. DP Megatech, fit for life.
I feel great.
Do you know me?
Who cares?
That, of course, is Garfield. He's fat,
Full figure.
ill-mannered, and to think I created him. But sometimes when I travel without the tubby-tabby, people don't know my name, so I carry the American Express card, and wherever I go, folks treat me like a fat cat.
Fat chance.
To apply for the card, look for an application and take one.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
The final 30 seconds. Now here's how the standings will look tomorrow morning when you pick up your morning paper and read about this one. Ohio State and Iowa will be tied at the top, but remember the Buckeyes have beaten Iowa. So in head-to-head, that is a major consideration when they pick the Rose Bowl team here. And of course Illinois not only eligible for the Rose Bowl, but all bowl games at the end of the season. They tied Michigan this afternoon at 3. And the faces will tell you the story of this afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need your cooperation for the safety of all consumers. Please do
The final seconds tick away in Columbus. Ohio State has done it again. And Iowa must regroup next week. They were number 1 for 5 straight weeks. And they have finally fallen. And the Buckeyes come up a winner. celebrating like they just won the national championship, Coach. Didn't take long for that goalpost to go.
Well, I'll tell you, when you knock off the #1 team, you have to be doggone proud because it's no easy chore. They beat a heck of a football team.
Now, our Chevrolet most valuable players of this game are, for Ohio State, their hard-hitting free safety, Terry White. And for Iowa, their durable fullback, David Hudson, who gave it all he had. And the check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. Errol, what do you think the story of the day was?
In my opinion, it was the Ohio State Buckeye defense. 4 interceptions. That's very difficult for any team to overcome. I think they camouflaged their coverages. They changed it. A team that had yielded much yardage to other passing teams absolutely did a sensational job here. In particular, Terry White, who has won the Chevrolet Award, was outstanding along with the rest of the Buckeyes. They played an outstanding football game.
NFL Week in Review. An in-depth look at all the action from last week's games through the Emmy Award-winning cameras of NFL Films, with expert analysis and commentary. Pro football from a different point of view.
NFL excitement, Sunday at noon.
Excellent job!
What do you really know about AIDS? How much of it is fact? How much is fiction? Starting Tuesday at 6, the Channel 3 Eyewitness News team investigates the controversy over AIDS to bring you the whole story behind this deadly disease. From its origins to the symptoms, through the treatments and research, from the public's point of view, the political issue, to the victims' hopes for the future. AIDS, what we know, what we fear. Starting Tuesday at 6 on Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
From the Berkshires to the South, from wherever you live, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News with Jerry Brooks, Bruce DePriest Weather, and Bill Patrick Sports.